Stop moving and pay attention, my baby. What I'm about to say isn't mild, and you have to do what I say. That's quite the awakening. I'm speaking right now to the depths of your heart. Breathe deeply. This statement is not intended to be humorous. It's now the time of year when lies are spread around, luck is hidden, and your soul is being pulled in ways you can't ignore. Listen closely. The next words are meant to wake you up, show you what you've been hiding, and pull you back into my truth before it's too late. Pay attention to me now. Please pay close attention, because what I'm about to say isn't a passing thought or a soft idea that you can put away and remember later. You have brushed off a lot of things and put off a lot of choices, but your present situation isn't always one of them. I'm talking to you now because I've seen you, and I can't act like your life, your soul, and your future aren't relevant. You need to feel it now. You should feel a strange weight in your chest, a pull inside, and a quiet sense that something is moving or getting closer. That's me. I am no longer far away, looking at you from afar. I'm calling you by phone because I'm close, near enough to breathe. You may think you're just reading, but I'm using words to reach parts of you that no one else has seen. You need to understand this. I no longer talk for no reason. When I become close to you to warn you, it's not always because I enjoy scaring you. Sometimes it's because I see what you do and don't see. I can discern the direction in which the street beneath your feet is headed if you continue along your current path. I see the cuts you think are small. These are the things you encounter on a daily basis. That numbness you talk about is first class. You are used to life in the fog. You convince yourself that you are in control of your situation. You are attempting to persuade yourself that all is well. You know something is wrong, though. Deep down, you feel tired when you wake up in ways that sleep can't cure. You hear a lot of noise and feel like the inside is empty. You say you think about me, but your mind keeps going to less important things to make you feel better. I'm no longer blaming you. I'm waking you up. You've heard me before during moments of solitude, when you suddenly felt a desire to wish for something, but chose to suppress it. You felt anxious when you went to places you knew were bad for you. You experienced a subtle sense of conviction when you uttered words that hindered your personal growth. These feelings have not been random or just mood swings. That was I, knocking insistently on the threshold of your heart, inquiring, "Will you heed my call this time?" And so often, you turned up the volume on your life, shutting me out with work, talks, pleasure, scrolling, and anything else that would keep you from hearing what I was trying to tell you. I'm getting closer now, though. There is no doubt in my mind that your story is not a wild dog tale. It's not always a game. A game isn't a practice. You don't always get to practice in real life. You can do it again and again. The number of your days isn't meant to scare you, but to remind you how valuable they are. You have work to do that you haven't even shown up for yet. People you should love more deeply. You are meant to be a source of hope, to break chains, and to bring about change in generations. In times like these, the path you choose either brings you closer to that goal or takes you farther away from it. That's why I want you to pay attention. Now, I'm not talking about listening in a way that just nods and moves on. I'm talking about listening in a way that says, "I am ready to hear whatever you have to say, even if it pierces me, even if it changes me. I understand the secrets you carry that you haven't told anyone. I understand the shame that whispers, if everyone knew you, they could walk away. I know your nighttime fears failing, dropping the mask, being alone, and missing your chance to be who you were meant to be. Listen to me. The seriousness of my tone comes from how much I love you. When I call you, pay attention, because that's not mild dependence. It means you are heavy, valued, and eternal. And the choices you make with me, or without me, echo a long way beyond the instant you're making them. So in this very second, I lean near your coronary heart and ask you to pause, interrupt your very own mind, set aside your defenses, lay down your rehearsed excuses, prevent telling yourself that you will trade someday, and understand that I'm drawing a holy circle around now. I am right here. Speak to me as if there is no one else in the universe, just you and me, because I want you to understand how deeply personal this moment is. I'm calling you to concentrate, now to guard you, to realign you, to begin a peace in you that you can barely believe, not to frighten you. And as you keep listening, I will spread more layer through layer, displaying to you why I've come to speak with such urgency for your heart. Listen to me now, with all the gravity your spirit can maintain, because this message isn't merely a continuation of what I have said. It's like an unveiling of something you've sensed, but refused to call. It seemed like the stirrings in your morals, the mild doubts in your heart, and the sudden hesitations I put inside you were just small interruptions. You dismissed them as mere dust on your garments, unaware that they were communications from me. Symptoms, indicators, and interventions are meant to reroute your steps before they lead you into deeper trouble. You felt the warnings when you were about to say something bad, when you were drifting toward old temptations, when you chose comfort over conviction, and when you were planning to walk into situations your spirit wasn't built to handle. However, instead of pausing to ask, "Lord, is that you?" you merely dismissed it and continued as if nothing significant was at risk. You normalized the hesitations that were intended to prevent issues. There were nights when you lay wide awake sensing something was off. The sensation was not fear or tension, but rather a spiritual pain. A nudge within the quiet urges you to rethink your choices, wish for change, reflect on the past, and slow down. However, the consolation of recurring swallowed the urgency of that second, and you satisfied yourself it was just fatigue or stress. You probably missed that I was trying to rescue your path before the effects grew roots. And yes, there were times when you clearly knew that the choices you were making did not align with the deep inner truth you carried. However, you masked your awareness with excuses. This was just an isolated incident. It's no longer a massive deal. Absolutely everyone does it. I will make it proper later. But warnings unheeded harden into patterns. Styles that go unnoticed can become chains. And I love you deeply, so much that I cannot allow you to remain trapped by what you were meant to overcome. But apprehend this. I do not intend to condemn you. Rather, I aim to awaken you to the reality that your spirit has been wandering while your mind has been preoccupied. You have allowed familiar influences to overshadow the divine. You've treated my convictions like historical past noise, instead of the voice of the only one who guards your soul. I'm confronting you now not to disgrace you, however, but to deliver you from the gradual erosion of your inner existence. You have been living on the edge of compromise without realizing how dangerously narrow that space is. And now I am bringing you back, urging you to listen again to the warnings you once recognized so clearly. Those warnings do not indicate distance. They are signs and symptoms of my illness. They're not evidence of sadness. They're proof of my safety. And as you continue with me, I'm able to show you how every caution you once dismissed is being reclaimed, redeemed, and reshaped into knowledge for the street ahead. Permit me to communicate. It seems to you that, with the pressure of truth, you have gotten what was long needed, but regularly averted. I'm going after the distractions that have been pulling you away from me. It's not that I'm mad at them. It's because they are slowly, quietly, and strategically robbing you of the peace, readability, electricity, and religious hearth that I created you to hold. You don't realize how broken your heart has become. How many pieces of yourself have you given over to monitors, conversations, burdens, expectations, and appetites that can't sustain you? You keep saying you are worn out, crushed, unmotivated, and disconnected. But you haven't connected that to the distractions that are draining your spirit. They seem harmless, normal, and ordinary. But they pull at you with unseen cords, pulling your attention away from what fills your soul and toward what leaves you emptier than before. These struggles. It's difficult to quiet your mind. It's difficult to wish without drifting. It's hard to study the truth without losing focus. And it's hard to stay grounded in times that should have grounded you, are not just random. They're signs that the noise around you has become louder than the voice inside you. Distractions aren't always detrimental, but many of them are misaligned and take more from you than they provide. They say they'll amuse you, but they leave you numb. They say they'll soothe you, but they leave you stressed. They say they'll keep you busy, but they take your cause. And because they come in many forms, habits, workouts, and comforts, you don't even realize how much power they have over your heart. So listen to me. I'm going to face each one of these distractions with authority instead of anger. I am calling you back from the constant distractions of business, the temptation of assessments, the weight of responsibilities that do not belong to you, and the overwhelming noise that fills your mind, but drains your spirit. I am reminding you that your soul needs stillness, readability, recognition, and depth. You cannot receive things while scattered throughout 1,000 lesser interests. And even though you may feel an interior tension as I pull you away from those distractions, the tension is holy. It's far from the sound of chains loosening. It's miles of proof of awakening. It's far from the mark of my love, refusing to let you float any further. I confront these distractions because I want you whole once more. You should be whole in mind, whole in heart, and whole in cause. I need you to reclaim the parts of yourself that you did not realize you had lost. I want you to understand the distinction between what feeds you and what drains you. And as you permit me to strip away what pulls you from my presence, you will start to sense something you thought you misplaced all the time. Because of this, I manage distractions, not to take away from you, but to offer you back what has always been yours. Pay close attention now, because what you've been calling coincidences are actually divine markers, signs, and symptoms placed around your life with intentional precision, pointing you in the direction of facts you've been too busy or worn out to notice. You've observed recurring patterns, unexpected door closures, and conversations that perfectly align with previously suppressed thoughts. You've seen moments of conviction growing, feelings growing without explanation, and meetings that seem to happen at the wrong time. These aren't random. They're orchestrations. They're my fingerprints pressed lightly, but clearly onto the fabric of your days. You've said things like, "This isn't normal," or "What are the percentages?" without realizing that each signal has a purpose. The heaviness you feel is not a sign of depression. It indicates that your deeper spiritual consciousness is awakening. The pain you feel isn't instability. It's misalignment being revealed. The sudden readability that comes and goes isn't imagination. It's my mild breaking through the fog surrounding your choices. The unexpected delays in your plans aren't setbacks. They're shields that protect you from consequences you aren't strong enough to look at. Even the internal battles you have been having lately, those you thought would go away, but instead got worse, are signs and symptoms that your spirit is waking up. These signs and symptoms serve as a reminder that you cannot continue to ignore what I have been trying to expose you to. You have been dwelling on them as though those symptoms are vague guidelines or emotional fluctuations. but I need you to recognize their invitations. I located them on your route now, not to confuse you, however, but to guide you. I do not now repeat myself out of impatience. I repeat myself out of affection, because I know your heart had been scattered and your thoughts overloaded. You have overlooked a few signs and symptoms because you were distracted, misunderstood others due to worry clouding your vision, and resisted some because you knew they required real change. And change often feels like loss before it transforms into freedom. However, it's important to note that my symptoms are deliberate choices rather than mere coincidences. And now, in this moment, I am telling you at once about the stirring in your spirit, the experience that something is shifting, the uneasiness with matters that previously felt regular, the unexpected hunger for something greater, and the quiet pull towards an exceptional way of living are all signs of a shift in consciousness. All of this has led me to organize symptoms so that you don't have to guess if I'm talking. I'm getting rid of the guesswork. I'm clearing up your vision so that you can see that every sign, every nudge, every interruption is guiding you in the direction of awakening, protection, alignment, and transformation. Nothing around you is accidental. These signs show where you are and where I want you to go. Feel the weight of this truth. You haven't imagined my pull. The tug you keep feeling inside you is real, persistent, and intentional. It has been with you through seasons, decisions, victories, and failures. You have felt it when you tried to distract yourself, but the silence came back. You felt it when you laughed with other people, but could still hear an invisible hand calling your name. You felt it when you were down and suddenly felt an unusually soft pull towards something deeper, something sacred, something that felt like home even though you couldn't explain why. This dive isn't about Gil's pressure or fear, it's Miles' choice. It's not the choice of the only one who formed your soul, reaching into the deepest parts of you, where your pretenses can't survive. You have felt my pull in approaching you, but haven't told anyone about it. In the middle of a prayer, in the slow silence of a shower, in a moment of music that suddenly softened you, or in a passing thought that made you stop and look inward as if something invisible brushed against your spirit. And you know this, even though you tried to ignore the tug in your lower back, even when you drowned yourself in noise, it didn't go away. The sensation persisted despite your assurances that you were too occupied, too wounded, or too unreliable. It came as a quiet pain, as longing as peace, as pain, not always pleasing, but always useful. It was there to anchor you when you were strong, to help you stay steady when you were weak, and to pull you back when you were drifting. The tug wasn't something you started, it was something I started. This serves as a reminder that no matter how far you wander, how much you cover, or how complicated your inner world becomes, I know how to find you. But pay attention. This tug is getting stronger, because the season you are moving into can't be approached lightly or half-heartedly. I'm pulling you deeper, because shallow waters aren't enough to hold the weight of what's coming into your life. I am pulling you because I know the plans forming around you. I realize the advantages of making it ready to spread. I know the battles you need to conquer. I understand the healing process that anticipates your surrender. I understand the harmony your soul has been yearning for, despite the challenges your desires have presented. This pull isn't to torment you, even if you feel anxious about who you were and who you're becoming. It serves as a guide for you. It is the tug that reminds you that you belong to something larger, holier, and truer than the life you have gotten settled for. So sure, you felt my presence tugging in your coronary heart, not weakly, not vaguely, but rather persistently, personally, and in detail. And as you keep listening, that tug will now not simply draw you. It's going to rework you, reshape you, awaken you. and lead you into the lifestyles your soul has been whispering about, while no one else turned to listen. Permit me to communicate this reality with the clarity you've been avoiding. Your movements are unsustainable, unhealthy, and not true to you. You have been living at a pace that drains you more than it feeds you, taking on obligations that push you harder than they bless you, and holding on to habits that don't nourish your spirit and, in a subtle way, weaken it. You've been telling yourself that it's only for now, and that things will eventually slow down, that this season will pass. But deep down, you know something isn't right. You feel yourself becoming emotionally, spiritually, and physically thinner. You can feel the stress in your chest saying, "I cannot keep living like this." But you ignore it because you don't want to stop. You prefer not to alter the patterns that have become familiar companions, even if they cause you pain. You can feel the cost of your current course. The emptiness that sleep cannot alleviate is palpable. The religious dryness that prayer once healed, but now you do not often discover time for. The emotional heaviness creeps in without warning. The lack of joy in things that, after all, delivered you life. Those aren't surface problems. They're symptoms of imbalance. Symptoms are that something internal to you is collapsing beneath the load of what you continually place on yourself. And although you attempt to reassure others that you're great, the reality is you have been performing in survival mode a lot longer than you admit. You have been pouring from a property that hasn't been replenished, giving energy you do not have. You are ignoring the alarms from your soul because you have convinced yourself that slowing down means falling behind. I am sharing this with compassion rather than condemnation. You cannot continue living this way and expect to find peace. You cannot continue to give so much to your work while neglecting your own emotional well-being. You cannot outrun the exhaustion you refuse to confront. And the direction you've been moving, the tempo, the compromises, the emotional stress, and the non-secular forgetfulness are leading you toward a breaking point you weren't intended to attain. I do not want you breaking. I want you restored. I no longer want you to burn out. I want you to burn vibrantly. I do not need you collapsing beneath pressures that were in no way yours. I want your status and strength that comes from alignment, clarity, and fact. This is why I'm stopping you presently, not to punish you, but to shield you. You know your lifestyles can't continue on this trajectory. You deeply understand this fact, and I'm inviting you urgently, lovingly, and undeniably to turn, to shift, to realign, and to let go of what drains and include what heals. The direction you've been transferring is unsustainable. However, the course I am calling you toward will now not only preserve you, it will revive you. Pay attention carefully due to the fact that this subject is more complex than you recognize. You've spent too much of your life thinking that my warnings are signs of unhappiness or frustration, as if I'm coming to you out of irritation instead of affection. But listen to me carefully. My warnings are proof of my closeness, not my distance. They demonstrate my attentiveness, my commitment to your journey, and my refusal to let you drift into danger without taking action. Anger pushes away, but love reaches in. I could be healing parts of you that have experienced neglect, hurt, numbness, or overwork. I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to rescue you. Think about the times in your life when you needed guidance the most. Not the calm times, but the ones that were going downhill. Even though you felt lost, you maintained a confident demeanor. During the times when you were hurting, you pretended to be strong. The instances while you were drifting, however, convinced you that you were in control. In those moments, the warnings you felt were no longer punishments. They had been lifelines. And even though you misunderstood them, feared them, or maybe resented them, They were rooted in a love so deep you struggled to believe it could be actual. I corrected you because I care. I confronted you because I protect. I challenged you due to the fact I see greatness in you that you've forgotten. I alert you due to the fact I recognize paths you cannot see and dangers you can't feel. Love is not silent while you are heading toward damage. Love speaks, interrupts, and redirects. Love does not stand still while you crumble beneath useless burdens. Love intervenes. Love does not let you accept a life beneath your calling. Love lifts you higher, even when you resist. That is why this caution feels heavy, because it consists of the overall weight of my love. You may hear intensity in my words, but that's not hostility. It's urgency. I'm urgent because I know what's at stake for you. I don't want you to silence something inside you that's awakening. I'm urgent because you've cried out in mystery, "Give me the way, provide me clarity," even if you didn't say those words out loud. And I'm answering those prayers now through caution, conviction, and clarity that go deeper than comfort. So understand this caution is love, fierce love, protective love, transforming love, love that won't let you get stuck, love that sees you, knows you, and loves you. And as we keep it, every word that follows comes from that same love. You need to feel the gravity of this moment. You are at a crossroads that won't go smoothly, and you know it. Something inside you has been sensing this change for a long time before you admitted it. That quiet tension in your chest, that restlessness you can't shake. The calm lake tells you that the direction you've been walking in can't lead you to the destiny I am calling you toward. You may think this crossroads appeared out of nowhere, but it has been shaped by every desire, hesitation, and conviction you felt but ignored. A crossroad isn't just about direction, it's about destiny. It's about who you are becoming and who you don't want to be anymore. You've reached an area wherein continuing as you are now is not an option. You cannot keep feeding your spirit with leftovers and count on strolling in electricity. You cannot continue sharing only parts of yourself with me and then be surprised that you feel unanswered. You cannot continue avoiding the healing I am trying to offer while hoping that the pain will somehow disappear on its own. And you cannot keep pretending that this moment isn't always sacred because the whole thing around you, the signs, the convictions, the emotional shifts, and the heightened attention has been pointing right here. This second, this turning factor, this holy pause wherein heaven waits to see what you will choose. However, listen to me. I'm no longer pressuring you out of worry. I'm inviting you out of love. I show you the crossroad not to crush you, but to awaken you to the freedom you've longed for. The direction behind you is full of what you have survived, what you've discovered, and what you've outgrown. The path next to you is full of distractions that will lead you to familiar comforts, but no real change. The path in front of you, on the other hand, is the only thing your spirit keeps pulling you toward, even when your fear fights it, the path of transformation. It's much narrower. Yes, it requires surrendering harmful habits and ways of thinking that have become your hiding places. But it's also how you become who you were meant to be. Don't tell yourself that you aren't ready. You are. Do it now. Don't wait for the perfect time. This is it. Don't tell yourself that you have more time. Time is now, not a promise. You are at a critical juncture that you cannot overlook, as I will not allow you to settle for mediocrity. I won't stand by and watch you agree with less. I will not allow the promise within you to fade away due to neglect. Therefore, I'm not just watching you from the sidelines anymore. I'm here to help you choose the road that goes to lifestyles, energy, focus, and reason. Now is your chance. Now is the time to turn. And I'm right here waiting for your yes. Let me discuss the feelings you have been experiencing, but are trying to minimize. Your spirit has been getting dull, and you don't feel it in a big or sudden way. Instead, you feel it in slow, vague ways that you keep up by moving them apart. You have observed that the fire, the inner spark that once came to you with such ease, has diminished. You've noticed that it's harder to pray, that you lose focus more easily, and that worship feels softer inside than it did before. Your once clear and strong beliefs have softened, seemingly worn down by the stresses and distractions of your life. You keep telling yourself it's just stress, tiredness, or a busy time of year, but you know it's more than that. It's possible to feel the dullness, heaviness, fog, and tiredness of a mind that hasn't had enough real food for too long. But listen to me, this boredom doesn't mean you've failed. It indicates that something was missed, and negligence can be fixed. Your spirit is still alive. It has been turned down very well. Despite your efforts to be mentally strong, busy, or distracted, you haven't given your spirit what it needs. Your spirit needs the quiet that awakens it, the truth that sharpens it, and the presence that heals it. It's not possible to live in emptiness and expect to be able to read. Without feeding your soul, you can't expect to be passionate. It's not possible to depend on energy when you're hungry, which is what drives you. Your decisions have also shown that you are dull. Things that used to bother you are no longer bothering you. You've been giving in to things you used to fight against. Old-fashioned styles that you once thought you'd outgrown have drawn you in. This change is not due to weakness, but rather a lack of sufficient mental stimulation. This avoidance has become evident to you. Your spirit isn't meant to keep living on intriguing bits and repeated moments every once in a while. It became clear to you that your spirit was made to grow in deep connection, presence, truth, quiet, and connection. You're feeling dull, which isn't a sign of doom but of distance. Stay away from the things that make you smart. Stay away from the person or thing that renews you. Stay away from the truth that makes you stronger. And I'm calling you now strongly, kindly, and immediately to stop ignoring the pain inside you. This isn't just a feeling. There's no chance about it. It's not just the way things are. This is your spirit's plea for a fresh start. I gave you that part to remind you that you were made for more than just surviving, being distracted, and being emotionally worn out. If your spirit has become dull, it's just because it's far away, waiting to be sparked again. I'm here right now, ready to fan the flame again if you let me. Pay close attention to this. The enemy has been working behind the scenes to hurt you. You won't be attacked directly, but instead will be given subtle effects, small concessions, and gentle nudges that seem safe at first glance. The enemy doesn't make a lot of noise. He plans ahead. He whispers, which is how I talk. When I lead, he gets in the way. He numbs me, which wakes me up. You felt this too, even if you weren't sure you saw it. You've seen how the number of opportunities increases just when you're feeling weak. You have seen the upward thrust in your mind that judges you, makes you feel less important, or makes you feel alone. You are aware of the subtle pull toward old habits, old comforts, and old hurts that keep you from moving forward. None of that is by accident. The enemy doesn't have to make a big move to hurt you. He can do it quietly. He doesn't have to destroy you with a storm if slow decay will do the job. He would rather not force you to wake up, because then he can put you to sleep inside. What he really wants is for you to be spiritually sleepy, emotionally stupid, mentally confused, and cut off from the thing that makes you strong. If you live near me, he knows he can't take you out, so he works to keep you busy, worn out, irregular, confused, in a big fight, and sabotaging you in silence. But please listen to me carefully. I'm telling you this now not to scare you, but to provide you strength. The enemy can only win when people are blind, but I am giving you eyes. He does best when he is alone and quiet. You will be able to see things clearly. He only makes a difference where people forget things. I'm calling you again to get in line. You don't have to be afraid of him anymore. You no longer want to think about him all the time. You really need to face the fact that not every thought is yours. Not every wish is normal. Not every option is divine. And not every emotion is true. You haven't heard the enemy running around you. However, I'm working loudly inside you. Most of the time, my voice will be louder than his whisper while you choose to focus. Wake up now. Because, whether you know it or not, you've been living half awake, working, moving, and coping, but not fully alive the way I meant for you to be. You've been doing things that look like they're working, but are actually making you feel nothing. It's been enough for you to split, but not enough for you to grow. Instead of addressing the underlying cause, you have been stuck in repetitive patterns. I'm not telling you this story to shame you. I'm telling you this to wake you up, because I won't let you sleepwalk through your dream life. You still have too much inside you to live out. Too much meaning that hasn't been brought to life yet. Too much asking has been ignored because people are busy, unhappy, and putting things off. People keep telling you they're waiting for a sign, but what you're really waiting for is the guts to not settle for the safe, but unfulfilling version of life. You've felt it. You've experienced the sensation that life offers more than what you're currently experiencing. That little spark, that whisper that you were meant for more than the mundane. It's not really restlessness anymore. It's really getting lighter. The force pushing you toward the limits of a life that is too small for who you're meant to be is really my own spirit. Your soul does not want to put up with your normal level of spiritual emptiness. You know how to cope with cycles that take away your power and drive. That being said, those loops are ending because I won't help you keep wandering. I might not be able to stop you from repeating the same actions, justifying them with the same reasons, and maintaining the same habits. This is especially true when I've ingrained the underlying causes into your DNA. Now, not while I've been putting things in you. The world isn't visible yet. Not when your future is begging you to pay attention. Know this: destiny no longer accepts inaction. It now demands action. It needs a goal, not an escape route. In this case, it calls for holy awareness, not mental sleep. As you walk through the fog, I want you to push yourself up. The confusion, fatigue, emotional burden, and mental loops are due to your dulled awareness and the road's unreality. You've tried to obtain rid of the weight by distracting yourself or being self-disciplined, but the awareness you want is not outside or secular. So, this is why I'm talking quickly now. Because I gave you life, I can't let you waste it by living below your calling. When greatness is a part of who you are, I can't help you drift into mediocrity. I can't and won't let you walk weak when you were meant to walk strong. I am no longer able to let you sleep. Take a walk through a fate that always feels like heaven to get ready. Now is the time to wake up. This time, I'm waking you up not with fear, but with fire. Not with worry, but with ease of reading. I'm waking you up because I wanted to, picked, planned, and called you. And the world can't afford to pay for that, which lets you stay asleep, even though I made you bring light to places where darkness has long been the norm. Pay close attention, because what's going on around you and inside you isn't happening by chance. It is a real surprise. I'm drawing back the screen to show you things you couldn't see before. These are things that you were previously unaware of. You weren't ready for the truth that clarity might bring, not because I wasn't clear. You might have been hoping for answers, asking for direction, seeking meaning, and wondering why good things seemed hard, heavy, or contradictory. Now I will help you gain insight. You are beginning to see the truth behind the things that led you astray. Why do people get into relationships that make them feel positive? You're having emotional fights that you lose because of religious pressures. Occasionally, this revealing can be painful too, because truth often breaks down lies you've relied on for too long. But I told you what I screened to protect you, give you strength, and get you ready. There were individuals you depended upon because their words appeared reassuring, but rather than uplifting you, they ultimately exhausted you. You saved some behaviors because they felt comfortable, but they have been slowly killing your spirit. You tolerated places you thought were safe, but they were changing your questions in ways that didn't fit who you were becoming. Until that point, your perspective was limited, not because you were stupid, but because you were focused on staying alive. You are no longer in survival mode, though. I am moving you on to wisdom, and being able to understand requires being able to see. I'm revealing the hidden truths and equipping you with the necessary knowledge for the journey ahead. This revelation will change your decisions, your relationships, your wants, and your goals. As time goes on, you may start to understand what pink signs mean. As soon as you leave, you'll see styles that are open to everyone. You will feel pain in places where you used to feel safe. Such discomfort isn't because something new is wrong, it's because your eyes are finally open. You will start to sense things about people, like their goals, non-secular environments, and mental loads that you couldn't feel before. Additionally, this newfound insight may sometimes feel too much to handle, but it is a sign that you are growing up. You're not going crazy. You're just getting smarter and more creative. As the season changes, I'm pulling back the screen to show you what's really going on. It no longer asks for ease but for focus. It takes strength, not weakness. When it comes to dangerous ties, without a mask, you can't go into the future. You can't be reasonable and accept lies at the same time. You can't become who you're meant to be while holding on to lies that are meant to keep you stuck. I'm not screening these things to scare you anymore. I'm doing it to lose you. I'm enlarging your vision, fortifying your strength, and preparing you to move forward fearlessly, unafraid of what I reveal. I have something to tell you that your spirit has known for a long time. A low level of faith is not enough for the way of life you're going into. It sounds like you've tried to find a faith that works well with your schedule, your comfort, and your tastes. There is a spiritual level I want you to reach. But that kind of religion can't keep you going. Proposal and feeling are the only things that keep surface religion alive, and both of them fade fast. Faith that is on the floor is easily shaken. When things get tough, religion on the surface softens. Floor faith looks strong until the storm comes. And you've already felt how true the statement is. Your inner life has been more trouble than what your faith on the surface can help with. This is the reason you've experienced anxiety, hunger, and exhaustion. Your spirit wants depth, and complexity requires more than short devotional moments or barely their attempts to connect. You could feel how shallow it was. You could sense the lack of depth in what you were trying to achieve. The way things divert your attention was unsettling. Your heart beats with such ease. You felt miserable because you knew that your current faith wasn't strong enough to carry you through the tough situations, responsibilities, and spiritual fights that were coming up. You were meant for a more profound relationship than the one you've been running in. Not because you are weak, but because you have the potential for growth. There has been a whisper from your spirit. There's more. You need to be outstanding. You were made to do more. You're not being judged by that word. It's a call. Surface-level religion keeps you from feeling bad. It is met with deep faith. Surface-level faith grows when things are easy. Faith that goes deep lives on giving up. The faith on the floor depends on what you go through. Deep faith is different for each person. Now I'm calling you to a deeper faith. Now it's not because I need it for my own benefit, but because you need it for yours. For the path I'm leading you on, you need faith that can stand up to stress, temptation, and fear, discover the truth, and lift you above mental storms. You can't walk into adulthood without being religious while standing in shallow water up to your ankles. Yes, I'm talking to you about your shallow religion, but not in a mean way. I'm doing it in a loving way because I need you to be stable and not tossed around. I want you to be whole again, not broken. I want you to feel strong, not worn out. I want you to be strong, not moved by every change for your events. I need you to be alive, and I mean really alive in spirit, not just knowing about holy things from afar. Furthermore, while going deeper in your faith may feel strange at first, it will ultimately lead you to discover power you didn't know you had, openness you didn't realize was possible, and a closeness with me that you were unaware of. I'm calling you out of your shallow existence. It was made for you to be intense. Take a moment to feel how intense this reality is. I am dedicating myself fully to this endeavor. I'm not interested in the pieces you provide, even though they are extremely beneficial. No longer the parts where you feel at ease giving up. Now not the times you give me when you still have strength. I want to know what part of yourself you keep the most secret. This is the part of yourself that you keep hidden from others. The part you lie about won't hurt anyone. The part you keep busy keeps you from having to feel the greater pain below the floor. You've been sharing just enough of yourself to make me feel connected, but not enough to persuade me otherwise. But while you were giving me your views, you were keeping your hurts hidden. You worship me, all the while concealing your fears, showing me your goals while keeping your fears safe. Even though you tell yourself you're committed, there are parts of your heart I haven't been able to reach. You keep the doors locked out of fear of what others might see if you fully open them to me. But listen to me. I don't want your whole heart to take charge of you. I sincerely implore you to improve. Your purpose should not be to live in a state of internal conflict. You weren't meant to love me and stay in the ring with the other. A coronary heart that is split can cause inner turmoil, restlessness, confusion, emotional instability, and spiritual tiredness. And you've been living this way, torn between what you want and where you live, between love and fear, and between giving up and protecting yourself. Because you keep trying to rush through life, your soul has become thin. There are two aspects of life, one that respects me and another that makes your body feel good. People, I'm calling you to wholeness, because wholeness is in your power when I ask for your whole heart. There is no longer any need for perfection from me. I want you to be honest. I need to see the real you. I need to see the part of you that struggles with believing. You are the person who quietly cares for others. This is the part of you that yearns for connection, but is hesitant to open up. People know you as a better person, but your old behavior keeps you down. However, those of you who desire change may be uncertain about the cost. Provide me that heart, not the polished one you show other people. Please offer me the raw, beating, shaking heart that has carried unspoken worries for a long time. A heart that is only half full can't carry a whole fate. A half gift won't keep you going while storms come up. People with a split coronary heart will always feel torn, stressed, and worn out. But if you tell me everything about yourself, your dreams, fears, mistakes, secrets, and techniques, I can fill in the gaps inside you that have been there for years. I can make things clear again where there was confusion, calm down where there was chaos, make things stronger where they were weak, and bring sense back where there was doubt. No longer do I need your whole heart to take something from you. I'm asking because I need to give you something that you can best get by giving up something. In your heart, you know this: you're tired of living split. Let me tell you what you've been feeling, but haven't said all of. There are things in your life that have been slowly taking your energy, making it harder to concentrate, and pulling your spirit in places you didn't mean to go. These connections have grown around your actions, your feelings, your workouts, and even who you are. Some of them seem to be safe. They may even improve your mood, but they could also incur higher costs than you anticipate. They steal your peace in little ways that you don't even notice. They make you less clear. They make you less smart. The soul is constantly being drained because they take from you without offering anything important in return. This leak has been seen. Being emotionally worn out doesn't make your activities healthy. The heavy, non-secular feeling that stays even when nothing is wrong. The lack of drive doesn't seem like a part of who you are. These are signs of ties that aren't yours. These attachments could be bad friendships, conversations that drain you, behavior that numbs instead of heals, patterns that make you feel better for a moment but hurt you in the long run. Emotional ties to people you weren't supposed to be connected to, or agreements you made with lies you didn't know you were believing. Even though you've tried to ignore how painful they are, your spirit knows there is an imbalance. You can feel the slow leak inside. It may not be significant enough to obstruct your path immediately, but it can gradually wear you down over time. Listen up. Each attachment is not always a good thing. And now, not every relationship is meant to last. Some bonds are beneficial for your soul. Some people eat it. Some provide your spirit a boost, while others drain it of life. Some make you stronger, while others hold you back. Which ones am I talking about? As you read those words, the spirit within you is calling attention to the ties that have lingered too long. For those who feel heavy, the ones that become in the way, those that make you move backward, the ones that cause trouble instead of peace, those you've excused for too long because you avoided facing the truth of what they have been costing you. We are not presenting these files to instill guilt in you. I'm telling you about them because your fate calls for freedom. Bringing old problems into new seasons is not possible. You cannot move forward while dragging heavy burdens behind you with electricity. When you hold on to what keeps you down, you can't rise. I love you so much that I can tire you out with things that shouldn't have touched your heart. Examine your relationships, as some are igniting your passion, while others are gradually extinguishing it. The ones that are draining you need to go. This is not just because they are bad, but because remaining connected to things that weaken you will prevent you from becoming the person you were meant to be. Listen to the message with an honest mind. You didn't acknowledge the inner warnings I instilled in you. And yes, that is precisely what I mean. These quiet doubts are exactly what I mean. The subtle ones check out your spirit. The instances in which you experienced a sensation of internal tightening, retreat, or an instinctual recognition that something was amiss. They weren't random. They weren't scared. They didn't feel scared. It was me. They had been my shield of safety wrapped in smarts. Your sense of right and wrong is based on what's hidden inside me. The tone of my voice conveyed the issue, despite your mind's reluctance to acknowledge it. You could feel those signs rising within you during conversations you should have avoided, decisions you should not have made, relationships you should not have trusted, habits you should not have relied on, and places where your soul was never meant to reside, for your comfort, interest, peace of mind, or fear of trade. You shut out the voice that was trying to keep you safe. But keep these facts in mind: your spirit has never been wrong when it felt danger. It's something you've felt. You felt the tightness in your chest, the weight in your stomach, and the sudden awareness in your thoughts. Prevent. Go away. Wait. Not this, not now, not them. When you didn't listen to their advice, you felt the effects, no longer as a punishment, but as proof that you left the house with the cover I tried to give you. You were supposed to avoid sorrow, sadness, and failure in your personal life by listening to your inner voice. I warned you in a whisper to keep you from hurting, but I stopped pushing you into it. Still, this is the beauty of my kindness. Even though you didn't follow through with those warnings, I never left you. I talked all the time. I didn't stop pulling at all. I did not stop diverting in any way. Even if the results hurt you, I never let them smash you. Because of this, my threats are no longer frustrated words. There have been ways to show love. Love sees you beyond your actions. This is the type of love that recognizes potential pitfalls before you do. Love that knows what's really going on behind smiles, beneficial intentions, temptations, and chances that look beneficial but don't lead anywhere. Love steps in to help before you fall, not when you're about to fall, but before your foot even hits the barrier. Now I want you to pay even more attention. This should be done in a humble manner. The inner signs are about to become more clear. Your ability to discern grows better as you answer more. You will feel more at peace the more you listen to what I say. You'll start to understand that ignoring my words will lead to chaos, but that following them will lead to life. I put the signs in you because your spirit was made to pay attention to me. It's now time to listen. You should be cautious about what you hear, because what I'm doing to your life right now goes beyond comfort, and beyond comfort. I'm getting rid of the false beliefs that led you astray, the lies you believed without realizing it, the fake securities you put your faith in, and the skewed perspectives you used to make choices. There has been a fog over your spirit for too long as you walk through life. It's not that you can't see the truth. It's that lies wrapped themselves so softly around your wondering that you learned to call them normal. You believed upbeat comments because you were used to hearing them, even though they made you doubt your abilities. You stuck with beneficial habits because they made you feel safe, even though they only helped you somewhat. You focus on conclusions drawn from past hurts rather than the truth. You held these underlying notions that influenced your perception of me, others, and yourself, yet you were unaware of their presence. But pay attention, because lies always steal the truth. Lies want to be seen. You settle for a lot less because of illusions. Illusions make you feel better about things that are clearly bad for you. And the effects of those illusions have been felt by you. You couldn't explain the mental struggles you were having. This was a time when something didn't feel right, yet you couldn't identify the cause. The constant heaviness that followed certain parts of your thought could bring relief. Those were indications that your manner of walking did not align with my expectations. Some lies originated from trauma, others from loss, some from fear, a few from lifestyle choices, and others from the words of people who expressed their wounds rather than their knowledge. These false ideas seemed real, but they were never real. So now I'm getting rid of them, gently when I can and firmly when I have to. I'm going to show you the truth behind the things you used to think were cool. I'm showing the hole that lies behind empty claims. I'm going to show you the truth about relationships you put too much stock in, and goals you thought would make you happy. Furthermore, this process might feel strange, because lies often feel like warmth. When truth sets in, it might feel like loss, but it's really freedom. I'm turning on the lights in places you kept dark, to avoid what was hidden. I'm taking away the masks you put on for so long that you forgot who you really are. As I take away your hopes, they were never really yours to hold. Your spirit has been longing for the truth, yet some parts of you may resist this awakening due to your habit of living in lies. Now pay attention, because as I remove rid of these lies, you might start to see with more imagination and foresight. You will understand why some roads did not lead to peace. You will comprehend the falsehoods that deceived you into experiencing negative emotions. You'll know how different places changed the way you felt. Most importantly, you can rediscover your true self, despite others' attempts to change you. Now I'm getting rid of lies, not to show you your flaws, but to show you your energy, the power you didn't see because it was hidden behind fake layers. As this veil lifts, you will no longer feel loss. You will feel like you have found yourself. Please listen to me with your heart soft. I heard everything, even when you didn't say anything. In the background of your daily life, your soul has been crying out in private and in a quiet way. And the cries of people have reached me more clearly than any spoken prayer ever should. You've been carrying feelings that are too heavy to put into words. Therefore, you concealed them beneath the guise of being busy, of accomplishing tasks, of distractions, and behind the resilient facade you maintain for others. There were times when you felt crushed and couldn't put into words why. There have been nights when your thoughts were loud, but your voice was quiet. It's pleasant, you told yourself, even though your soul whispered, it is no longer pleasant. No one else noticed, but I did. I could feel the weight on your chest, the stress in your heart, and the weariness in your spirit. Your quiet cries got through a lot of red tape. You let those dimensions go while no one was looking. The weight you felt when you woke up. You quickly wiped away the tears that came out of nowhere. There was a profound longing for tranquility that you struggled to articulate. Because you were unable to articulate it clearly, you did not know how to pray about it. Being afraid of being misunderstood made you feel less at ease about expressing your feelings as openly as other people did. Instead, you ignored the pain and hoped it would go away on its own. But it didn't. Your soul kept crying out for healing, connection, direction, and rest due to an inner longing. But listen to me. I didn't need your words to understand how much pain you were in. I've been paying close attention to the language of your soul, the language of hunger, pain and hope that is hidden under despair. While you fight in quiet, I've been watching. These are the struggles that go unnoticed because you handle them so well. This concept is very important for you to understand. No longer did one of those quiet cries go to waste. No longer was anyone missed. No longer did one get away from me and be left out. Your quiet hasn't been empty. The message has been sent, and I have been answering. The fact that you're quiet doesn't mean you're weak, you think. Your heart is larger than your words. It means that your thoughts are too strong for simple words to describe. And I respect that depth. But I need you to understand this too. You don't have to bring the whole thing quietly now. You shouldn't heal on your own, and you shouldn't do it now either. Your soul doesn't have to scream to be heard. You've already been heard. I'm now going to talk about the cries you hide, the confusion you hide, and the worries you keep quiet. I'm going in the way of the parts of you that have been begging for attention. I'm telling you this so you don't think that being quiet means you are alone. I answer while your soul cries. I need to talk to the heaviness you've been trying to control right away. You shouldn't have to carry the weight you bring. And in your heart, you were never meant to hold on to what you've been holding on to. You've been living with loads of stress that make you feel older than your years. Weights on your emotions that you didn't ask for. Duties you didn't want. Standards you set for yourself. And hurts that aren't fully healed. You have also been burdened with pressures that were not yours to bear. Some of these problems stemmed from individuals you hold dear. Some of them came from times that broke you. Some of them came from the lies you told yourself. Gradually, you became accustomed to bearing burdens, that my fingers were typically intended to lift, though you remained unaware of this. You convince yourself that you are strong and sufficient. But how much energy you provide is not how you measure it. It's measured by how eager you are to let go of what's holding you back. You feel better by telling yourself that others have it worse. But you forget that your heart has limits too. You tell yourself that taking a break is a sign of weakness. It's a failure to slow down. Asking for help is putting pressure on other people. Therefore, you strive to cling tightly to everything, even when it seems to be slipping away from you. But this weight has been making you feel worse than you say. It showed up in your feelings, your strength, your endurance, and the way you talked about religion. It's been pushing on your thoughts, making your chest tight, and taking away your happiness. It's there when you wake up, when you go to sleep, and when you sit still. You're now being followed by a ghost of a load. It's not because you failed, but because you've been carrying hundreds of things that require divine energy rather than human endurance. Listen to me. It wasn't my intention for you to be my champion. I never told you to figure it all out by yourself. I never asked you to carry what hurts you. You are not being punished by the load you are feeling. It's a far-off message that you need to give up something. We don't always give up when we surrender. Giving up something that wasn't yours to keep is what it means to surrender. Let go of the stress of having to be perfect, the worry about letting other people down, the shame of making mistakes, the fear of the unknown, and the guilt of your walls. Your shoulders are hunched over because those weights were never meant to be there. Could you please set the weight aside for now? A sentence. It's not because I don't think you can, but because I love you. Let me bring up what makes you tired. Let me tell you what's bothering you. Let me hold what makes you hurt. Don't worry. Your arms were made to worship. Your thoughts were meant to be easy to read, not a mess. Your heart changed so that it is now made for peace instead of stress. Letting go of this burden may free your soul. The freedom that comes from trusting more deeply instead of trying harder has arrived. Feel how important this second is. Your fate isn't waiting for a faraway day when you finally have it all together. Because of the choices you're making right now, the habits you're feeding, the thoughts you're having, the relationships you're letting happen, and the barriers you're refusing to set, it's really taking shape. You often tell yourself that the big changes will happen later, when things are more stable and stress levels drop. This often occurs when you feel more powerful or prepared. But pay attention to me. Not every sentence is built on a logical jump. It consists of choices made every day. Your choices. What you say yes to, what you say no to, what you accept, and what you include or omit, determine the next day before you wake. And the reason you feel so heavy, tense, and religiously sensitive right now is because your choices this season carry extra weight. If you make a choice today, it will change your future. You've seen the trend. What does it matter that it felt casual before when it feels expensive now? Now, some of the choices you used to make without thinking feel significant to you. Some conversations, responsibilities, or relationships may feel burdensome, exhausting, or not align with your desired path. It's not by chance. The sounds I make are designed to awaken your senses. Are you living on autopilot? I'm pulling you out of that and onto purpose. You can't just waft into the future. You need to choose how to get in. And I'm letting you know more, because I won't let the latest mistake ruin your future. But allow me to speak with kindness. I'm not telling you the truth anymore to make you feel bad. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to understand the power you possess. You can't let your past hold you back. You're not stuck because of past mistakes. You don't have to be old versions of yourself. You are not destined to fail, be late, or be turned down. Making risky choices like the one you're making right now shapes it. You are making your future as you choose truth over comfort. When you decide to recover rather than hide, you are creating your own destiny. As you choose prayer over fear, following through on your plans over acting on instinct, clarity over chaos, and limits over bonds, you are making your future. And heaven moves for you every time you choose me, even in the smallest ways. Please keep in mind how important this season is anymore. Every moment is a changing point. The weight you're feeling is proof that you're in a place where your divine fate is being cut out. You're not the only one making the choice. I am with you, leading, encouraging, speaking to, pushing, and protecting you from bad decisions while guiding you toward good ones. Your future is being made right now, not because of fear or stress, but because you want to fit in with the picture of yourself I already have in my mind. I'm going to tell you a mild truth. You've been attempting to fill a significant void with activities that never truly fulfilled your needs. Distractions include things like relationships, accomplishments, fun, being busy behavior, and even religious activities done without a real link. Those options make you feel better for a short time, but they leave you feeling empty after a while, like drinking water that dries out your mouth or eating foods that don't support your body. You keep trying to find things that briefly ease the pain, but it always comes back because it was never meant to be fixed by anything other than my presence. I recognize the pattern, the searching, the striving, and the fleeting moments of solace that give way to intensified longing. I understand that you tell yourself, "This will improve how I feel." But once the moment has passed, you find yourself feeling even more restless. You're not hurt. You are not matched. You are trying to feed a sacred hunger with noise from this world. There are many ways you've tried to fill this hole. Sometimes, being productive can help you believe that being busy is the same thing as being fulfilled. Occasionally, you turn to other people, hoping that their approval will alleviate your feelings. Sometimes, engaging in activities like getting away, scrolling through social media, having fun, eating, making plans, fantasizing, acting, or doing something to temporarily numb the internal discomfort can feel necessary. Sometimes, even a spiritual interest feels more like a job than a way to connect. And these things aren't all bad right now. A lot of them are good where they belong. But none of them can carry the weight of your soul. Not one of them can come up with a name. You can't find peace with any of them. None of them can make sense to you. They weren't supposed to, because those people's needs were meant to be met by me alone. Pay attention to me. You haven't failed, you just feel empty. It's a call. It's an invitation to look within for what is readily visible through me. A request to stop taking other options while the source is looking. The pain inside you is holy. There are miles on your spirit map that lead you back to what you were made to do. You watched in hopes of feeling better, but ultimately, you simply desire to connect with someone. You watched, you're looking for a breakout, but you're also looking for something to uncover. You saw that you want comfort, but really you just want to become better. And I'm no longer annoyed at you for trying to fill the position. I really want to fill it myself. I'm pulling you away from the things that make you feel better in the short term, but make you weaker in the long term. I'm calling you back to the best place, where your spirit can relax, where your sense of self is strengthened, where your fears go away, where your wounds heal, and where your power is restored. There's a tremendous hole in your life, because God has given you a purpose, and I'm the only one who can fill it. Clear your mind on this truth. Your non-secular sense has been dulled, but it hasn't been killed. You haven't lost it, and it can still be fixed. Indeed, the constant noise, mental stress, unresolved pain, and other things that have been taking up your time have numbed you. Your spirit has been having a hard time breathing because you've been living with a lot of mental and emotional trash. You used to figure things out quickly. You picked up on my nudges, sensed chance, identified peace, and got my belief. But these days, everything seems quieter, farther away, and harder to understand. It made you feel like something was wrong with your religion, so you blamed yourself. But the truth is simpler. It's not because the spirit is weak that it goes quiet when things become loud. It's because it's too much to handle. You have had too many responsibilities, too many criticisms, too many demands, and too many feelings that you haven't dealt with. And it all built up like layers of dirt on top of the peak of your inner life, making it harder for you to see clearly, understand, and experience me the way you used to. We ceased communication not due to my silence, but because your spirit had become exhausted. Numerous rules have been weighing on you, leaving little opportunity for your heart to concentrate. There's so much stress in the air that even if I whisper, it can be heard. But pay attention, being numb is not the same as dying. It's a mild sign that feeling is coming back. The very fact that you've noticed how numb you feel means that your spirit is waking up again. I'm taking off the layers that made you less sensitive. I'm getting rid of the noise that made it difficult to hear myself. I'm getting better from the cuts that made you doubt your judgment. I'm making it possible for you to feel me again. I want you to feel me again, not just understand me intellectually. Please don't forget me. Feel my spirit with the openness you used to have and the passion you've never felt. When I wake you up, you'll notice the change. You'll know that guilt is coming back, but not to punish you, but to beat you up. Peace will hit you extra strongly, a peace that cuts through the chaos. However, you may be able to recognize warning signs more quickly if you are intelligent and remain unconcerned. In addition, you'll feel my presence more constantly, not just sometimes, but all the time. And the numbness that's been bothering you will hurt you like melting ice, bringing to the surface a sensitivity that was hidden, but wasn't lost. Your religious sense is growing stronger, and once it wakes up, it will provide you power in ways you have forgotten. Pay attention to me with the weight of this second. If you don't do what I tell you, adverse things will happen. No, I'm not trying to punish you. I'm telling you the truth, because ignoring it always takes you down roads that drain you, confuse you, and keep you from the peace your soul was made for. You might have felt these effects before, but you may not have known what they were. After you chose what you knew wasn't right, the heavy feeling stayed with you. The holy fog that came over you when you stopped doing the things that used to keep you grounded. The feelings of sorrow that crept through your heart when you strayed from the things you were sure of. All of these were not punishments. They've seen progress. Results are not signs of my anger. They are rather signs of the non-secular rules that shape your inner world. You can't sow seeds of compromise and expect to grow strong and clear. When people speak their truth, you can't expect peace to last. You cannot change your mind after what I told you and still expect your path to remain straightforward. However, it's important to realize that the outcomes don't necessarily signify the conclusion. They could be calls to get back in line. When you feel pain when you go outside against my will, it's not always because I'm pushing you away. It's far away because I'm holding you back. In fact, you were made to walk, to stroll with energy. Even though you're coming from that area, your spirit can feel the imbalance right now. Attention, that weight, and that lack of success. These are signals meant to let me know that your heart is getting closer to mine before the room gets bigger. There is subtle neglect. You say things like, "I'll address this later," or "It doesn't really depend," in small ways at first, but over time, These small neglects turn into bigger problems that hurt your mental health. This is my voice, because I refuse to let erosion destroy the roots of your life. You are being warned to protect you. This message is a tip for you to stay safe. You can't have enough money to ignore what I'm showing you. This advice is particularly pertinent at this time of year. You wanted clarity, improvement, and hope, but they can't be in the same place as forget. Being forgetful makes you less sensitive. Neglect opens doors that should remain closed. Forgetting leads to confusion where there should be clarity. And I care too much about you to let you deal with the effects of ignoring what I've already said. Because you asked me to be straightforward. That is how I express my love. In interest pay. Answer. Do what I've told you. That's because the way of life you want is on the other side of duty, not fear. Let me talk clearly about the stress you've been feeling. You have found yourself in socially, mentally, spiritually, or relationally harmful situations that you didn't realize were putting you at risk. Those floor spots may not seem dangerous, but they make it harder for you to see, hear, and understand. You have been associating with individuals who encourage you to maintain your previous habits. It appears that you have been remaining in environments with odors that your spirit finds difficult to tolerate. You've considered thoughts that hurt who you are. You've put up with talks that make you question yourself, lose confidence, or allow in. You keep telling yourself that you are not affected, but your soul has been responding with heavy feelings, confusion, and a general feeling of being far away from the peace you felt so easily and quickly. Be mindful that spiritual weakness may not always be readily apparent. Typically, it does not manifest as a significant threat or an unexpected failure. It often manifests as diminished enthusiasm, reduced clarity, decreased sensitivity, weakened drive, and a loss of resolve. You start to feel cut off from the things that used to keep you grounded. You no longer feel as compelled to protect your non-secular ways of life as you used to. You agree to deal with small problems that are very important to you. You start to wonder, why do I feel off? Why can't I experience God like I used to? But it's not now because I stopped talking. This is because the people and things around you have been draining you without your permission. Listen up. This isn't about justice or being perfect. It's about keeping everyone safe. I am paying particular attention to these vulnerable areas because danger doesn't always signal its presence. It sneaks in by being close. You can't expect to stay strong if you stay in situations that go against who you have become. You can't stay in talks that are based on negativity or desire and expect your mind to stay clean. You can't expect your spirit to be whole if you stay in situations that hurt you more than they help you heal. You can't let bad things happen to your heart and expect your faith to stay bright. I'm calling you from a place that isn't in those vulnerable areas because I want to protect you, not because I need you to be far away. You are about to enter a time when your moral health matters more than ever. You need to be clear. You need power. You need to be stable. The places where you stand also shape who you become. Pay attention to what I say. Love soap. Do not play the dance. Leave the places where you are hurting yourself. Go to places that are good for you. Your heart has the ability to discern the difference. Pay attention to it. Feel how important this fact is. We need to get away from sin that is making you feel too good. You have justified your actions. The styles you've adopted have become more restrictive. You have rationalized your actions. It's because they feel familiar and easy that you're willing to make concessions. Sin doesn't usually come with confidence. Sin gradually creeps up on you, disguising itself as a source of relief, enjoyment, comfort, a coping mechanism, or a seemingly insignificant issue. You keep going back to things that dull your spirit, make you less disciplined, and weaken your sense of purpose, and you don't even realize it. You tell yourself you might be able to do it, that you're strong enough to stop at some point. But I'm sure that what you call trickery is really bondage that looks like desire. But listen to me. I'm not calling you away from sin to make you look evil. I'm calling you away from sin because it takes away your well-being. It makes it harder to read. It takes away your religious power. It takes away your fire. Without a doubt, it takes away your ability to listen to me. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you feel miserable. When you move towards sin, you move away from energy. To get to the deeper parts of your life, it helps more when you explain it. And the opportunity remains available at all times. It's when you slowly fall into habits that separate you from the person you were made to be. This is how you felt. Later, you felt guilty, which isn't beneficial for being your true self. You felt the heaviness that lasts slightly longer than the temporary joy. You could feel how your spirit was getting weak, the loss of belief and the ease with which something that used to scare you can be copied. Once sin becomes too easy, this is the sign. You know I love you too much to let you stay there. Now just listen to my voice. I'm no longer calling you to shame. I want you to be free. Freedom that breaks chains that you probably didn't even know were there. Freedom that makes you sensitive again after you thought you had lost it. Freedom that brings back a love you thought had died. Freedom that takes off the weight you've been carrying around quietly. I'm calling you out not because you're not worthy, but because you've been chosen. I'm sending you away because you should be holy, strong, and have a reason. That call, even though it might feel heavy, is full of hope because anywhere I call you away from, I'm ready to take you out completely. Your comfort with sin ends where your freedom starts. Give this your full attention because it is true. Your cause has options that aren't rejected, canceled, or forgotten, but they're also late. Picks that you know are beneath who you are and what you are becoming. These choices are comfortable, easy, familiar, and expected. But they also keep you stuck in loops that slow your non-secular growth and steal your progress. You've thought about why some doors won't open. You've contemplated the reasons behind the lack of clarity and the elusive nature of progress. No, it's not because I'm keeping something from you. It's because you persist in circling around routines that I've been striving to disrupt for years. And every time you find these styles, you take a step back from moving forward, which is what your fate calls for. You've felt this tug of battle inside you, the need to fight, the desire to swap, and the urge to go back to what you know. You tell yourself that you will beat the sample next week, when things calm down, or when you feel better. But the circle starts over, and time keeps going by. But pay attention meaning isn't just based on taste. It is made up of miles of choices. These choices require space. Being honest and brave is crucial. Often, these choices are challenging because they divert your attention from the things that bring you joy. There are some choices that feel expensive because they deal with weaknesses you'd rather not think about. That being said, I care about you too much to let you stay against your calling. These repeated choices can also be small, but they have a bigger effect on your spirit than you realize. They can be behaviors, relationships, agreements, thought patterns, or emotional responses. They make you less smart. They spread out your strength. They make you less consistent. They'll do anything to take your confidence. This approach delays the changes you've been requesting. I'm no longer mad at you for reading these passages again. I am presenting them to you to help you move beyond them. You can't move on to the next chapter while reading the same parts that kept you stuck in the last one. But here is what I promise. Everything starts to change when you make a different choice. As soon as you break the routine, heaven will move in your way. As soon as you match your options with your calling instead of your comfort, your spirit will feel stronger again. You need to be good enough. You want to be slanted. Your cause may not always require a perfect version of you. Expecting a true version of yourself is a long way off. When you finally stop doing what hurt you, slowed you down, or kept you from focusing, you will quickly see how purpose starts to take shape. Take the time to listen to this message with all of its seriousness. Time issues are more complex than you realize, and the season you're entering demands serious consideration. You've been living for too long, as if time had stopped and opportunities would always come back. It's like your future might want to wait until you're ready, certain, or motivated. It's not always possible to change time, though. You are responsible for it. There are important aspects of your calling, healing, relationships, personal growth, and future that need to begin now. These actions should begin immediately, not later or at an unspecified time. Now that sense of need, that pressure, that stirring, and that holy pain you've been feeling are not worries. This experience serves as a profound awakening. You have wasted time in the past, but not on purpose. It was because you were distracted, put things off, scared, or emotionally worn out. I've forgiven those seasons, but this season is different. Time now connects to a cause in a way it didn't before. You have people you need to influence, places you need to go, tasks you need to take on, fights you need to win, and benefits you need to get. They all relate to being ready, and waking is the first step. You can't sleepwalk into what I'm setting up, so I'm shaking you. At first, awakening can be upsetting because it takes away your warmth, breaks the routine, and wakes you up. But it's even more important because where I'm taking you needs focus, awareness, understanding, and purpose. It's time to act. Not because you're leaving, but because you know why. You've had a feeling about this. You sense that something significant is about to unfold. You sense a mysterious need to immediately organize your lives. It's strange that we need to heal old wounds. There's a strong desire to escape from situations that are draining your energy. There is a pressing need for direction and clarity. It's not a strange turn of events. It's the perfect time. I'm moving things around that you can't see. I'm opening doors you haven't yet explored and preparing for opportunities you might overlook if you're mentally dozing off. Therefore, I'm waking you up now because your chance to change is here, and you need to seize it with all your might right now, not later. Know that this awareness isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to provide you strength. It's not like me to say that what's ahead of time is worth talking about. What's coming is worth giving up. It's worth the effort to put together what I have. Your life has too much value for you to drift. It's not possible to ignore your calling, and a while is too valuable to lose. So I wake you up because the future you're setting for yourself deserves a fully living version of you. Let this news sink in deeply to your heart. You are no longer being warned to scare yourself. I tell you this because something in your life needs to be saved, protected, kept, and redirected before it's too late. Fear is not my language. Love is my language, and every message I send is motivated by a desire to keep you safe. I can see the roads ahead of you more clearly than you can yet. I am able to perceive the temptations awaiting you, the concealed traps, the potential heartbreaks, the locations where your resilience may be tested, and the decisions that could have enduring consequences. I speak up before the danger fully forms because I love you. It's not whether I warn you, it's protection. This message has been building up inside you. You're experiencing a pain that defies description. You're experiencing a sense of unease in situations that initially appeared safe, a heavy feeling in your spirit while you contemplate better options, a quick warning around certain people or places. These internal alarms are my way of protecting you. When I issue you a warning, it's because your spirit is about to cross into something that could hurt your calling, your peace, your reason, or your future. Not everything risky seems dangerous. It's not just the entire scary situation. It initially feels dangerous. So, I'm going to warn you faster, louder, and stronger. Do not think that my need to rush is anger. The language of love is urgency. There is a significant issue at hand, and I hold you in high regard. When I warn you, it's because I see potential value in you that I want to protect. I can see the promises you have yet to make. I see that you still want to get better. I see relationships that could hurt you and relationships that could make you better before you even feel them. I can see the mental fights starting to happen, and that I call you to understand, not to scare you, but to give you power. It's not a threat to be careful. A step is being taken. A far hand is pulling you back up before you fall. It's a hint that keeps you from walking off earlier. It's like a light going on in a place where there was darkness trying to hide. I can't say, you count numbers too much for me to live in silence. So don't worry about the warning now. Lean into it and let it guide you, toughen you up, sharpen you, and protect you. This warning isn't meant to scare you. Miles is here to save you. Feel the weight of this moment. You know I've been telling you to let beneficial things happen. You've been told to let go of things that are holding you back from the person you're meant to be with. You've felt the anxiety, the quiet pull to let go of things that don't fit with your future, and the loud resistance of your comfort, worry, and memories that insist you hold on to what's familiar. But listen to me when I say to let something move. I'm not telling you to give up pleasure. I'm telling you to release what steals it. I'm not taking something away, I'm saving you. You've held on to some people longer than they were meant to walk with you. Their presence has grown heavier. Your strength is greatly draining. But you stay, hoping loyalty will transform what is already decaying. You've hung on to habits that console your flesh, but weaken your spirit. You've kept environments that communicate to your old self, but suffocate your new one. You have been clinging to identities formed in seasons of age, wearing labels that had never been intended to define you past the moments they were born in. And though you feel the pressure of holding on, you worry what existence looks like without these attachments, because you haven't yet seen what I am geared up to region for your fingers. Letting move isn't punishment. It is instruction. It does not involve removing anything that cannot accompany you into the next season. The reason this launch feels so difficult is that your soul recognizes the reality of the shift. You're no longer losing pieces of yourself. You are shedding weights that had been by no means a part of you. First of all, you worry about the vacancy that letting move creates. However, emptiness is truly space. This space serves as a place for healing and recovery. This is a place where you can find clarity. Understand this. I can't force the release. I can't pry your arms open. Love doesn't control, it invites. But I can keep nudging you, reminding you, and stirring your awareness. You feel uneasy about what you are trying to hold on to, because deep down, you know what should be released. You know what you've grown. You know what brings peace. You know what has become too heavy. And you know I've been asking you gently, constantly, lovingly let go. Not because I want you to. You deserve the freedom that comes with surrendering. Hear me clearly. Your heart has been pulled in two directions. One toward me and one toward what weakens you. And it can't stay that way if you want to walk in the peace, motivation, and energy you've been praying for. A divided heart is a conflicted heart torn between desires that result in lifestyles and impulses that result in vacancy. You experience this struggle as restlessness, emotional fatigue, and spiritual inconsistency. You try to move forward with intention, however, Part of you keeps pulling back toward comfort, distraction, and compromise. You attempt to pray deeply, but your mind drifts. You try to worship freely, however, guilt interrupts. You attempt to make progress, however, an internal conflict causes you to hesitate, leaving you uncertain about which direction to pursue. This division isn't always going on because you are weak. It is taking place because you've been trying to save lives straight away. The existence of surrender and the lifestyles of self-upkeep coexist. The existence of faith and the existence of fear. The existence of alignment and the lifestyles of attachment. But listen to me. You can't move forward in life while your heart is breaking. You cannot become the person I have called you, while parts of you still cling to what I have asked you to leave behind. You can't enjoy my full presence while also being interested in things that make you less sensitive to me. A divided hood usually leads to divided effects, divided peace, divided motive, and divided energy. However, I'm not bringing this up to shame you. Rather, I'm bringing it up to heal you. As you've been engaged in an internal struggle that has exhausted your soul. You've been trying to make everyone happy, keeping old styles alive, while building a new life, and trying to keep attachments that drain you, while also wanting a deeper connection with me. This internal breakup is why your spirit feels torn. I'm inviting you, not bothering you, to come back into wholeness. Wholeness starts when you stop trying to love what hurts you. Wholeness begins when you stop feeding what destroys your peace. And wholeness starts when you offer me all of your heart, not just the parts that feel holy, but also the parts that feel messy, conflicted, tempted, and afraid. I need it all. And underneath, your heart can't lie split because you were made to walk in clarity, not confusion, in strength, not hesitation, and in freedom, not fragmentation. Let me make your heart whole again. Pay close attention, because this name has the tenderness of a father and the urgency of a king. I'm calling you to go back to the place of intimacy with me, the place where your spirit used to breathe freely and your heart felt alive. You remember that place. You remember the times when my presence felt close, when prayer came out clearly and worship felt like home. That was a time when conviction felt gentle, when steering felt clean. There was a time when you didn't need to exert pressure on your faith, as your heart became a bridge. That intimacy wasn't an emotional excess. It was your spirit guiding the way. It was meant to operate in close proximity to me. But the noise of lifestyles, the load of responsibilities, the pressure of expectations, the edge of disappointments, and the lure of distractions steadily pulled you away. This distance was no longer abrupt, but rather gradual. So slowly, you did not recognize how distant you had grown to be. Your prayers have become shorter. Your worship has become quieter. Your non-secular hunger became duller, and the distance that once was mine became filled with everything else. Tasks, fears, screens, humans, worries, burdens. But even as you drifted, something deep inside you missed me. It wasn't religion, it wasn't repetition, it was me. You neglected the stillness. You missed the clarity. You neglected the joy that didn't depend upon occasions. You overlooked the peace that made no sense. You neglected the conversations you used to have with me in the quiet. The assurance that enveloped you felt like a comforting embrace. The tears you shed felt more like a cleansing than a breaking. That feeling of longing is palpable. The ache resurfaces during quiet moments. Is your spirit remembering where it belongs? So pay attention to my voice now calling with tenderness. Come lower back. Come again to the area wherein you're recognized without performing. Come again to the region where you are safe without pretending. Return to the place where your weaknesses do not disqualify you, and your fears do not intimidate me. Come back to the place where I replenish what life takes away, where I heal the wounds inflicted by others, where I restore what sin has taken, and where I communicate in areas that silence cannot touch. Intimacy with me isn't approximately perfection. It is an approximate connection. It involves allowing me into the areas you have kept guarded. It is approximately allowing my presence to quiet the noise, calm the chaos, and soften the hardness life has constructed round your coronary heart. I'm calling you back now, not because I want you, but because you need me. Everything you've been looking for in the wrong places is waiting for you where you left me. Come back. I haven't stopped waiting. Focus on me with the stillness your soul has forgotten how to hold. You have ignored the quiet places where I meet you. The sacred places are where your thoughts slow down, your heart softens, and your spirit will become aware of my presence in ways that noise can't show. You used to be familiar with those places, where time seemed to pause and peace enveloped you like a protective barrier. But somewhere along the way, life got louder, busier, and heavier, and quiet has become something you avoid instead of embrace. Instead of filling your days with obligations, your nights with distractions, your mind with noise, and your emotions with stress, you did this because silence started to reveal things. You didn't want to face your pain, your longing, your fears, and your unanswered questions. But silence has always been the space where I can speak most clearly. You've been looking for answers, clarity, a way forward, and restoration. But you have stopped coming into the space where those things can flow freely. You've asked me to guide you, but you have to starve the moments when my voice is audible. You've told yourself that you don't have time to be still, but the truth is deeper. The business you're used to dealing with is what's draining you, distracting you, and cutting you off from the energy I've been trying to give you. The quiet you've avoided is the exact space where your spirit reawakens and aligns with me. But hear me, I am not scolding you. I am calling you again. The quiet vicinity isn't a punishment. It is an invitation. It's miles in which I soothe the tension you carry on your chest. Miles separate my voice from the cacophony of your thoughts. It is where I restore what life has drained away. It's miles where I remind you of your identity, cleanse you from the heaviness of the arena, and restore the tenderness your heart has misplaced. You don't want hours of silence. You want willingness. You seek moments where your focus completely shifts towards me, moments where you breathe deeply rather than dashing. These are the moments when you stop striving long enough to achieve what you desire, and hear your voice too. On every occasion you sense the urge to withdraw into quiet, that is me calling. Every moment of restlessness inside you, that is me beckoning. Every sudden yearning for tranquility signifies my invitation for you to come back. You haven't lost the quiet region. Listen to the urgency in these words. You are slowly, subtly, almost imperceptibly moving away from the stability your soul desires. Embracing the flow doesn't feel dramatic. It happens through distraction. It happens when prayer becomes occasional instead of critical. It happens when conviction becomes acquaintance instead of transformation. It happens when compromise becomes casual instead of alarming. It happens when your spirit grows quiet. It's not because I ceased to speak, but rather because the sector became increasingly louder. Waft seems like everyday life until it doesn't. Until you wake up and wonder why you feel empty, numb, distant, careworn, or spiritually dull. You haven't gone into darkness. You've just lost your grip on the light. You haven't turned your back on me. You've just become inconsistent. You haven't given up on your cause. You've just stopped caring for it. That's why I'm speaking so seriously now. Drifting often leads you to places you didn't mean to go. Float is how you end up in negative relationships. Waft is how you go back to old habits. Waft is how you lose sensitivity to my presence. Float is how your peace, your confidence, and your discernment weaken. not through one big choice, but through small breaks in religious neglect. But listen up, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it to trap you. Drifting doesn't mean you're misplaced. It means you need anchoring. And I'm calling you to return earlier than distance turns into damage. I'm pulling you into consciousness before your spirit becomes numb. Before subtle compromise turns into a stronghold, I'm waking you up. You may think you are simply worn out, busy, or distracted. However, I see deeper. Your soul is signaling that something is misaligned. Your uneasiness isn't always random. It is a revelation. Your discomfort is not instability. It's intervention. That internal tug you continue to feel is my hand in your heart, pulling you back before the gentle breeze becomes a deviation. This warning contains a wish for you. You can return quickly. Going with the flow doesn't require disgrace. It requires consciousness. Going with the flow would not require punishment. It requires re-entering. A gift would not require guilt. It requires turning. It necessitates a moment of genuine repentance, an unmarried choice to realign, to give up, or to re-engage spiritually can pull you out of a waft that took months to shape. My warnings aren't signs and symptoms of distance. They're signs of pursuit. As you're drifting away from what I've planned for you, I'm warning you to pay full attention. There are things ahead of you. Both benefits and battles require instruction, strengthening, and spiritual maturity. I'm not telling you this story to scare you, but to wake you up to the fact that your future is bigger than your complacency, deeper than your current level of discipline, and scarier than the non-secular workouts you've grown comfortable with. What's coming is not normal. You have prayed for more breakthroughs, new opportunities, more profound relationships, better reasoning, and clearer direction. And I've heard every request, but every elevation calls for coaching. The future cannot land on an unprepared floor. You feel the shift. You felt the stirring internally. You sense that a change in lifestyles is imminent, that something is building inside the unseen. There are doorways forming that you haven't even tapped into yet. This sense is not creativeness. It is spiritual foresight. I am preparing your spirit in advance of the events that will occur. But coaching often appears like stress. It feels like conviction intensifying. It seems like behavior is being challenged. It appears like old cycles turning into insupportable ones. It seems like I'm pruning what can't live, stretching what has to develop, recuperating what has hindered you, and polishing what has grown stupid. You cannot stroll into the subsequent season with the same degree of field you had in the closing one. You cannot bring antique wounds into new assignments. You cannot bring flawed behavior into greater responsibilities. You can't step into non-secular authority with a committed spirit. Grievance is not punishment. It's far protected. It is my intention to equip you so that what lies ahead does not overwhelm, derail, or diminish the advantages I am prepared to provide. Apprehend this. What's coming would require a more potent prayer lifestyle, deeper discernment, clearer barriers, and a steadier spirit. You will need to pay attention to me above the noise. Observe me in spite of the unknown. Agree with me through transitions and obey me, even when it stretches you. However, I'm unable to ask you to stand for something by myself. I put you together because I go along with you. I help you grow because I support you. Because I like you, I'm giving you a warning. And while the destiny unfolds, you will see that every conviction, every awakening, each discomfort, and every moment of guidance became my way of shielding your future. What's beforehand is first rate. But greatness calls for readiness, and I am making you ready. Hear me with the full force of my love. I will in no way allow destruction to overtake you without sending a warning first. And this moment right now is that warning. It's not a threat, a punishment, or a prediction of doom. It's a divine intervention, meant to keep you safe from paths, people, and patterns that could lead you into harm you can't see. You often lower your risk by doing things that seem dramatic, but know this, the most dangerous things in your life don't usually start out loud. Destruction happens in small compromises, slow drifting, and decisions that add up until you find yourself in a place your spirit wasn't meant to be. And because I see what's ahead, the hidden traps, emotional costs, and religious fees, I'm speaking now to pull you away before you step into something that could cost you more than you're willing to pay. You've felt this warning rising like an internal alarm. You felt uneasy around certain people you used to trust blindly. You felt hesitation while approaching choices you used to make without problems. You've got observable styles for your lifestyles that once seemed harmless, but now seem unnervingly dangerous. You felt me tightening your spirit, narrowing your feeling of peace, and making certain actions feel heavier than they ever did earlier. That heaviness isn't random. It's far from me shielding you. Doors abruptly close when plans falter and relationships undergo changes. When your spirit feels uneasy, but you cannot explain why. Those are not frustrations. They may be protections. They're eroding you. I issue warnings to prevent you from experiencing unnecessary heartbreak. I refuse to allow the enemy advantageous access to locations I have been strengthening. I refuse to allow familiar temptations to drag you back into cycles from which you have already emerged. I refuse to permit diffused effects to seduce you into dropping your hearth, your readability, your identification, or your motive. You can no longer see what's forming inside the unseen. However, I do. Although you didn't listen in previous seasons, I still warned you. Even though you ignored your own discernment, I still whispered. Even though you walked into things I tried to pull you away from, I still included you. Despite this, you were saved and brought back. Listen to me now, this warning is a rescue. This unsettling feeling for your spirit is a form of divine protection. This conviction is my hand pulling you far from the threshold. You don't want to fear what I'm revealing, you just want to reply. I'm warning you because I care about you too much to let destruction touch you without first surrounding you with reality. Let this warning not weigh you down. Let it stop you. Focus on this message with the fire of conviction I'm lighting in your spirit. You've been too relaxed with lukewarm living. Your religion has settled into a middle ground that makes you feel safe, but is slowly suffocating your religious fire. Lukewarmness is deceptive because it doesn't feel dangerous. It feels familiar, attainable, and easy. It's where you do just enough spiritually to avoid feeling guilty, but not enough to be truly alive. You pray, but not consistently. You give up, but only partially. You worship, but not intensely. You obey, but selectively. You've convinced yourself that this middle ground is right and enough, but your spirit knows better. This is why you've been feeling restless. This is why your peace has felt incomplete. Being lukewarm has lukewarm results, and lukewarm results can't support the weight of the life I'm calling you to build. You weren't made to be half-hearted or spiritually passive. You were destined to ignite with reason, conviction, passion, and energy. But listen to me, I'm not condemning you. I'm awakening you. I'm stirring the embers below the ashes. I'm reminding you of who you were before life cooled your fervor. There was a time when your spirit turned gentle, while my presence moved you to tears. That was a time when worship was as invigorating as breathing air. My words ignited a fire within your bones. When obedience wasn't a conflict but a joy. That fire didn't die, it became unbearable. And now I'm going to light what has been dormant inside you. Lukewarm isn't your identity. It's a signal that your spirit is yearning for more. More intensity, more intimacy, greater comeuppance, extra facts, more giving up, and more alignment. And I'm calling you out of the middle ground because it weakens you. It leaves you spiritually susceptible, emotionally inconsistent, and mentally scattered. I need you clear, grounded, ignited, and unshakable. So I'm confronting your lukewarmness, no longer to shame you, but to reignite you. You were created for hearth, not for the consolation of religious neutrality. Pay attention to me with absolute clarity. You can't be who I know you, as while holding on to your past self. Your destiny and your past cannot coexist in the same space. Your calling and your old identity cannot share the same heart. Your purpose cannot develop inside the soil of old behavior, wounded mindsets, and acquainted patterns. You keep praying for transformation, yet resisting the very losing that transformation requires. You desire to achieve your destiny, while still holding on to what lies beyond it. You want to go up without letting go of the things that are holding you back. You want a new identity, while holding on to old ways of coping, questioning, reacting, and believing. But you can't step into your next phase while holding on to your old self. You felt the tension, the pull, between who you were and who you are becoming. Part of you wants to go up, but another part wants to stay where it is familiar. Part of you wants freedom, but another part fears what liberty requires. The old version of you was built for survival, for seasons that required walls, warnings, and defense. But those seasons are ending. The new version of you, I am calling forth, can't work with the mindset of someone who is just trying to navigate through the day. Your new season calls for a brand new you, who is healed, whole, confident, courageous, surrendered, aligned, aware, and spiritually wide awake. Understand this. Changing into the person I made you to be isn't always about letting go of your past. It involves surpassing your past by a significant margin. It involves allowing me to heal the wounds caused by your actions. Letting me change the lies that helped you figure out who you are. Letting me mess up the loops that make up your styles. I want to take away the labels that make you feel positive about your self-confidence. I'm not telling you to change into someone else. I want you to become the person you were hiding under stress, fear, sadness, sin, and taking care of yourself. For change to occur, individuals must initially make difficult decisions. You need to let go of ties that hold you back to old selves. You might need to break harmful habits that make you feel poor. The thoughts that diminish your power must be rejected. You might need to forget the lies that made you feel small. But pay attention to me. This method will replace everything you let go of with something new. More peace, better thinking, a stronger sense of self, better connections, more confidence, and faith that can't be shaken. To become the person you were meant to be, you have to let go of the old version of yourself that doesn't fit anymore. You are being called to evolve. I want you to come into your own. I'm asking you to go along with me. As soon as you decide to stop living as the person you used to be, you can become what you are known to be. Don't be afraid to listen to me. What I have to say is deeper than you know. I'm facing the worry that has been affecting your choices. Your fears were affecting the decisions you made, the people you dated, the risks you took, your ability, and your voice. You've learned to deal with your worries instead of getting past them. Choose what feels safer right now instead of what feels right. You miss out on chances because you're afraid of failing. You're afraid of what other people will think if you share your skills. Because you're afraid of change, you stick to what you know. Because you would rather not be unhappy, you settle for a lot less. That being said, I didn't make you live a life full of worry. I made you to walk with power, bravery, and holy confidence in yourself. Worry is very effective at hiding itself. It doesn't always look like fear or panic. It sometimes shows up as overthinking, hesitation, putting things off, talking too much, or needing constant reinforcement. There are times when it shows up as perfectionism, acting like I'm not ready when, deep down, I'm petrified to try. It can also mean keeping your heart safe at other times. Fear tells you to stay away from people because you think they will hurt you again, not because your mind tells you to. But pay attention to what I say. In your life, fear is often transformed into knowledge, and I'm now pointing it out. You've been asking for truth, a way, and a step forward. However, fear is often the first voice to answer when I'm ready to speak. Stress tells you that you can't. Worry says you might fail. Fear says, what if you fail? Worry asks, what if they reject you? Fear asks, what if you're not desirable enough now? And every time you listen to that voice, you move farther away from the life I'm going for. You're prioritizing comfort over safety in an unhelpful manner. Safety, on the other hand, is not the same thing as peace. Being safe keeps you safe. Peace keeps you in line. Stress makes you small. Drive pulls you higher. Because of this, I'm facing your fear, not to make you feel awful, but to set you free. Worry has been making you make disastrous decisions for too long. It has been encouraging your identity for a long time. Worry has controlled your growth for an extended period. This fortress can no longer conceal itself behind excuses, because I am illuminating it. The places where you feel the most pushback right now are the ones where worry has built the strongest walls, and the walls between people are coming down. You will discover ways to think about me that go against what makes sense. You have to do what I say, even if it makes you uncomfortable. You must proceed despite your trembling, speak despite your voice quivering, and advance despite your knees feeling unsteady. Being brave doesn't mean not being afraid. It's not about choosing me just because I'm present. Your indecision has lasted long enough due to your worries. Now is the time for religion to take its place as your guide. Listen to this truth with power and kindness. Your stress is no longer a negative thing. There has been a spiritual sign that something in your lives is out of balance, too much missing, or not mended. You've seen your worry as a problem, a flaw, a failure, or proof that something is wrong with you. But the stress is not my way of harming you. It's your soul trying to tell you something that your mind has been too busy to understand. Stress makes your heart beat faster because it's working harder than it was meant to. The miles you have traveled, the sound of your inner unbalance, the feeling of spiritual separation, the process of emotional building, and the fast pace of life have all pushed you past your limits. You were very hard on yourself for being upset, but I haven't been hard on you. I have been hearing. Your stress has been telling you that you've been trying to do too much by yourself, that you've been moving too quickly, that you've been holding in feelings that you need to let out. You need to let go of the things you've been carrying, that the places you've been living have been making you feel down, that you've been thinking about things that make you less peaceful. You have been ignoring the signs your heart has been sending you for months. Having anxiety isn't always the case. If you don't pay attention to it, it will stay with you. It makes more noise. But listen to me. I am not disappointed in you for being worried. That's why I'm drawn to you. Tension doesn't keep you from being in my company. It begs me to be there. I'm close to people who are sad, stressed, worn out, and annoying. I'm not waiting any longer for it to calm down. I am ready for you to let me in. You've tried to talk to management about your worry, but all they do is make things worse for you. You've tried to avoid worry by being busy, but being busy just buries it deeper. You've tried to ease the stress by distracting yourself, but your anxiety only makes healing take longer. Our stress is a sign that something wants to be touched. The stress is a sign that you need to rest, heal, start over, and renew. It means you want a greater relationship, not just a deeper way to address things. It's not a sign that you want to slow down, change your relationships, get better, and return to the place where your soul can breathe. When you feel tense, it means you need me more than just as an idea. When you finally let go of your stress and come to me honestly, without shame or pretense, you'll realize that what you thought was a curse was actually a way to find your way back to me. Your stress doesn't always mean that you're giving up. It's a long way from the start of your recovery. Pay attention to how tender and important these words sound. I am warning you, because you turn to less important things like running for comfort, short-term distractions, short-lived joys, emotional escapes, and mind-numbing behaviors that make you feel better for a while, but leave you feeling worse later. This stuff makes you feel wonderful right now, but it leaves you empty for a long time. Comfort comes over them for a short time, but it doesn't last. And every time you run to them, you put off the healing your heart needs. I'm not mad at you for what I said. I'm calling you out because you deserve better than what you've been settling for. You've been using these less important pleasures. When all the responsibilities of life become too much and loneliness sets in, remembering things that hurt, feeling worried, being worn out, and not being able to read seem like they are all things that you are naturally looking for relief from. You get what is easy, familiar, and good for your body. But listen to me, short-term healing is not the same as long-term recovery. Distraction doesn't always help you get better. Being numb is not happiness. Escape doesn't always mean freedom. Furthermore, every time you switch to less important comforts, they take you further away from the inner comforts your spirit really needs. Those less important things aren't always wrong. Occasionally they're completely inadequate. They can't hold all of your pain. They can't answer the thoughts that are on your heart. They can't hurt the patterns that keep you caught. They won't be able to help you relax. They can't provide you power. They are having trouble coming up with a name. They are unable to help you recover. I promise you that they can't give you the peace that only I can. You've been settling for a while now, but I want to show you how to change. So please listen to my message with love. Don't go for walks to empty your mind. Don't feed a hunger that the things you have can't fill. Don't put your faith in things that take away your peace instead of giving it. You deserve more. Better things are meant for you. It's been aching for more in your spirit. I want you to feel more at ease. The kind that fixes wounds instead of making them feel better. The kind that makes you believe in yourself again. The kind that eases your stress. The kind that takes your stress away. It's the kind that provokes thought. It aids in revealing your true self to others. Those small things no longer make you feel better. They take your attention away. And I love you too much to watch you keep going toward something that can't save you. Turn to me while the pressure builds. Please come to me when your heart hurts. Turn to me when your feelings are getting the best of you. Flip to me while desire talks. I'm the comfort your soul was meant to have. I provide the most lasting comfort. Nothing heals like warmth, and nothing makes you whole like comfort. Be honest and open when you listen to me. You keep ignoring the opportunity to improve and elevate yourself. You miss it not because you don't hear it, but because rising means losing what you love. These are things that you are already aware of and familiar with. Things that make you feel safe. Even though they're killing your spirit slowly, you know deep down that I'm calling you up. When you're sure of something, you can feel it whenever something inside you stirs. When someone talks to you, it makes you feel nervous. You know it when you feel like the person you're becoming doesn't fit with the person you were. Still, you've been fighting the climb even though most of these signs are there. Why? Going higher feels like a significant financial investment. It looks like giving up the comfort of old habits, relationships, routines, and ways of thinking. and a part of you is scared of what life will be like without them. But pay attention, a slope always requires space. But you are no longer split from love by the things that hold you down in places you were never meant to live. You've been putting up with groups that don't challenge you, surroundings that don't feed you, talks that don't help you grow, and behavior that doesn't make you stronger. These things may seem familiar, but they could also be making your spirit feel restless. These papers that you have to fill out when your calling gets too big for your current way of living cause you tremendous pain. You have a feeling that there is more coming, but you're unsure because it often feels scary before it feels powerful. I'm calling you better though, because your fate is higher, your cause is better, your sense of self is stronger. I made a better version of you before you were born than the one you're running from now. When you hold on to what keeps you down, you can't move up. It's not possible to climb while making excuses. You can't go up if you don't let go of what drains you. You can't grow if you surround yourself with opinions that stop you from being creative and seeing the future. It's not about pressure that you choose to push upward. It has to do with teaching. I'm getting you ready for a life that will need more from you than low places ever did. I'm asking you to become more religiously mature, emotionally strong, mentally open, and closer to me. You must be stronger than the hard times that have beaten you because of what I've done for you. You were left out of the decision-making process not because you didn't want it, but because you didn't think you could do it. But hear me out. The choice to push yourself upwards doesn't depend on how much you can do. You have to give up for it to work. I won't specify who is qualified at this moment. It's not just for the interested. Stay away from fighting the rise I want to give you. You were born to go up. Pay close attention to this. You can't keep giving in to temptations because they are meant to destroy you, not just make you weaker or distracted for a short time. There are temptations that have been following you around. At first they seem harmless, offering you pleasure, warmth, relief, or familiarity. But under the floor, the enemy has carefully made them to target your weak spots, timed to catch you when you're worn out, and masked as comfort during your weak times. You underestimate the religious threat you are approaching each time you convince yourself. It is not that serious at the moment. It's just once. I can handle it, or I'm strong enough. Temptation isn't about the moment, it's about the momentum. The enemy isn't always after your slip. He's after your give up. He's after your mistake. He's after your mindset. He's after your movement. He's after your identity. Playing with fire will get you burned. Being around snakes leads to bites. You can't flirt with sin and expect your spirit to live sharply. You've already felt the effects of these temptations. The heaviness that follows the short-term pride, the shame that settles afterward, the distance you feel from me, the confusion that clouds your mind, the lack of motivation to wish, and the guilt that keeps you away from my presence. These aren't punishments. They're signs that the temptation is stealing more from you than you realize. But listen to me. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to save you. I'm warning you because I love you too much to keep quiet while you face danger. I'm showing you the truth so you can break free from bondage papers. I'm calling you out of temptation, not because I want to hold you back, but because I want to free you up. You don't have to fall or stay stuck. You don't have to believe the lie that the struggle will always be your battle. When you choose me over temptation, you choose strength over weakness, freedom over slavery, and success over failure. Turn away now, not out of worry, but out of wisdom. Temptation is a lure, however. I am your way out. Focus entirely, as this is one of my most urgent truths for you. I am looking to save you from a destiny you can't take care of alone. This is not because you are weak, but because the battles ahead of you require divine strength, knowledge, protection, and discernment. You cannot access the resources you need if you continue to drift, compromise, or try to navigate life using only your own human strength. You spot best what is right in front of you. You only feel what is needed today. But I see the long course beforehand, the unseen traps, the emotional storms, the spiritual battles, the subtle deceptions, those who look harmless now, but bring intentions to wound you later, and the opportunities that look appropriate now, but could ruin you if normal. I see the future, not to terrify you, but to put you together. You've prayed for advantages, and I'm getting you ready for them. You've prayed for elevation, and I'm changing you so the elevation won't overwhelm you. But advantages come with battles. Purpose comes with stress. Elevation comes with duty. And if you walk into these things spiritually empty, emotionally risky, or mentally distracted, they'll weigh you down instead of bless you. That's why I'm talking to you so urgently. Your destiny is holy, and I won't let you sabotage it without knowing it. There are things happening in your future that you aren't ready for. There are threats that could destroy you if you hold on to your foot for too long. The enemy is setting traps for you that you won't see until your spirit is sharp. There are opportunities that look divine, but are in reality designed to derail you. There are relationships beforehand that require discernment to navigate wisely. And there are assignments expecting you that demand energy you haven't constructed yet. I am not warning you in order to shame you. I'm warning you so you can rise into readiness. If you continue to ignore my nudges, pursue lesser comforts, indulge in temptations, and settle for mediocrity, you will not be ready for the responsibility you've requested. If you respond now, concentrate, give up distractions, and realign yourself, I will equip you for every battle, guide you through each task, sharpen you for every assignment, and fortify you for each blessing. You no longer have to be afraid of your future. You no longer need to be afraid when I walk before you, beside you, and within you. I am seeking to prevent a destiny you can't cope with on your own, in order that together we are able to construct a future you'll thrive in. Hear my words with honesty and readability. You keep asking me for direction, while ignoring the commands I have already given you. You pray for guidance yet hesitate when steerage arrives. You ask what I ought to do although I've whispered the identical answer into your spirit repeatedly. You cry out for clarity, but the fact is this: you are not stressed. You are resistant. Resisted because the course I gave you requires trade, sacrifice, discipline, and bravery. You are resistant because my instructions challenge behaviors you don't want to let go of, relationships you don't want to reevaluate, limitations you don't want to enforce, and comfort zones you don't want to leave. However, do definitely pay attention to me. You cannot obtain a new route, even while ignoring the last instruction. You've mistaken uncertainty for confusion. However, what you are feeling is conviction. You are no longer misplaced. You are heading off the route you understand you should take. You have been circling the equal questions, hoping I'll come up with an easier answer, a softer command, and a much less challenging direction. I offer only difficult paths that benefit the future, and I give strong instructions to make people improve. I speak the truth because it sets you free. You keep asking me to show you the way, even if it challenges you or pulls you away from what feels safe. I hold the path in front of you, pointing to the right step you've been hesitant to take. And pay attention, my instructions aren't punishments, they're preparations. Each road I've given you, even the challenging ones, was meant to protect you, shape you, provide you a boost, and set you up for the future you've been praying for. For example, I told you to let go of beneficial relationships because they make you weak. I told you to stop feeding bad habits, because they cloud your mind. I advised you to return to discipline, because your spirit cannot flourish with inconsistent habits. I've instructed you to remain steadfast, because your choices speak louder than my voice. You watched as I delayed your blessing, but I'm sincerely awaiting your obedience. Your prayers are not the issue. Your willingness is. You don't need more commands. You need to trust the ones already given. I now communicate this to you with love instead of frustration, as everything you've been asking for relates to a different perspective on obedience. You want a breakthrough? Then take the step. To achieve readability, please follow the guidance provided. You want peace? Then align yourself with the reality you recognize. Do not ask me for a map, as I have already identified the next step that is right beneath you. Pay attention closely, because this second will shape how you navigate the whole lot that comes next. I'm about to reveal what has been hiding in plain sight. Things you neglected, human beings you misread, patterns you didn't question, reasons you relied on too speedily, and non-secular dynamics you were not privy to. My intention is not to frighten you, but to unite you. You have been strolling through existence with pieces of facts missing, unaware of certain influences that have been affecting your judgment, feelings, and religious sensitivity. Some things appeared to be benefits, but they were actually distractions. A few individuals have professed loyalty while simultaneously sowing doubt. Some opportunities appeared promising, but they contained hidden traps. I did not monitor this stuff in advance because you were unprepared to see them. However, now you are. Publicity can be unsettling. It can feel like losing control, comfort, or stability. But hear me, exposure is safety. I'm bringing fact to the surface so deception can no longer control you. I'm revealing reasons so that you can shield your coronary heart wisely. I'm uncovering hidden religious battles so you can pray with precision. I am exposing counterfeit alignment so that you could make room for the relationships that truly reinforce you. What was hiding will no longer be hidden. Not because I want you to be scared, but because I want you to be organized. For months or even years, you felt inner warfare around certain situations, but couldn't explain why. You felt heavy after certain interactions. You felt worn out through certain connections. You felt careworn with the help of positive possibilities. You felt anxious in places that seemed safe. Your spirit was sensing the changes in your thoughts, but you were unable to recognize them. The unease turned into a revelation without details, and now I'm ready to provide you the information. Don't be afraid of what I reveal. Exposure to well-known shows the fact and truth and restores readability. It breaks harmful ties, gets rid of illusions, strengthens discernment, and most importantly, aligns you with my protection. What I reveal, I heal. What I'm about to say will change how you move, what you choose, and how you think. This publicity isn't lost, it's miles of freedom. Provide it the attention it deserves. You couldn't ignore the non-secular battle going on around you. You were thinking of religious war as something far away, something that happened to someone else, but you were living in the aftermath of battles you didn't even know were happening. Every sudden wave of heaviness you couldn't explain, every attack on your self-esteem, every random surge of temptation, and every moment of spiritual numbness were not coincidences. They were signs and symptoms. These signs indicate that you are in the midst of a war that the enemy hopes you remain unaware of, as this ignorance leaves you defenseless. You've been feeling spiritually drained. This is not because you are weak, but rather because there has been an ongoing battle to prevent you from being aligned, from being able to read, from being able to leap forward, and from having a purpose. The enemy does not waste strength focused on human beings with no capability. He targets individuals who threaten him. You certainly threaten him due to your calling, your impact, your abilities, the influence you exert, and the freedom you are embracing. However, you have been trying to address spiritual battles using emotional tools such as overthinking, avoidance, self-blame, and distraction. Unfortunately, none of these methods are effective within the religious context. That is why I want you wide awake. You should become conscious, sharpened, disciplined, prayerful, linked, sensitive, no longer apprehensive, and aware. Recognition brings authority. Authority brings victory. And I'm not calling you to combat in panic. I am calling you to fight with me. I am not requesting fear. I am inquiring about engagement. I want you to stop acting like nothing is happening spiritually, because everything is. The enemy is planning to take over your mind, your peace, your consciousness, your relationships, and your identity. But listen to your heart with hope, G. You are not falling behind. You are protected. You are matched. You are truly uninvolved. And as soon as you re-engage spiritually, as soon as you pray with a goal, communicate with authority, resist temptation with awareness, worship with recognition, and search for me with consistency, the environment will change, the battle will stop, the attacks will lose power, and you will see that even when you are defeated, you can overcome when you stand in the authority I've already given you. The struggle is real, but so is your victory. If you want to fight with your eyes open, listen to the message with all of my compassion and urgency. You keep ignoring the part of you that wants to get better. You silence, distract, and dismiss this part of yourself because it feels overwhelming. You have convinced yourself that you can keep working without tending to that wound, that you can keep moving without acknowledging that brokenness, and that you can keep smiling while hiding that pain. But even though you have worked diligently to bury it, that hurt part of you has been talking louder through your feelings, your triggers, your reactions, and the heavy feeling you experience at sudden times. You have tried to numb out, run, hide, or control it, but healing can't happen in the shadows. You feel so tired, beaten, and mentally weak because an unhealed part of you is crying out for healing, not stress relief. This hurt has been on you for too long. It could have been caused by betrayal, rejection, mistakes you can't forgive yourself for, hurtful words said to you that left scars, losses you never dealt with, painful childhood years you tried to forget, or times of heartbreak that made your heart stronger. This hurt, no matter where it came from, has changed how you perceive yourself, how you love, how you trust, how you act, and how you see the world. It has also changed more of your life than you admit, whether you admit it or not. This pain is where you've been living instead of where you should be, in a place of wholeness. And while survival has kept you going, it hasn't caused you to grow. Still, pay attention. Getting better is not a weakness. The pain doesn't come back when you heal. Restoration is letting it go. Restoration is not going back to the past. Getting better means taking back your future. Going over a traumatic event isn't always a part of recovery. It's about getting identification back. You don't need to assert yourself alone. You are being asked to let me in on them. The things I want to heal are the ones you hide. The places you stay away from are the ones I want to fix. The memories that scare you are the ones I need to change with facts. You can't keep acting like you're beneficial when your soul is begging for peace. When what you want is changed, you can't keep yourself together through self-control alone. You can't keep ignoring feelings that need to be dealt with, wounds that need to be healed, and aches that want to be touched. Listen, I'm not going to show your wound to make you feel worse anymore. I'm letting it out to set you free. Now is the time to stop living and start getting better. Let me present the truth to you in a way that both hurts and heals. You've been hoping that nothing will change and that things will trade. You need new results, even though you want to keep old habits. You want instances that have been changed while still following the same routines. You need to be able to jump for no reason, be clear for no reason, be free for no reason, and be elevated for no reason. You've been putting off the inner shift I've been calling you to while waiting for something to change on the outside. This is why people are getting more and more frustrated. Not because your prayers aren't being heard, but because your moves haven't changed. If you keep telling yourself that things will get better, they won't. Things don't get better by accident. With the help of balance, it happens. You've told me. I understand I need to trade, however, understanding isn't always transforming. You've been waiting for a sign, for inspiration, and for a feeling. But change starts with a choice, not an emotion. You can break out of the loops you feel stuck in. They have no competition. There are short-term styles that will drain you. They know each other. You're ready to rise. But you've been waiting for comfort, instead of making a commitment to regularity. Take note of this. I will no longer refuse to exchange with you. I'm looking forward to your involvement in this matter. Faith doesn't take the place of a job. Religion makes people more responsible. I will create opportunities for you, but it is your responsibility to navigate them. I'll show you a fact, but you have to answer it. I can change your mind, but you need to give up what's hurting you. I can give you creative and forward-looking thoughts, but you have to do something about them. I can move your heart, but you have to do something about it. Do not confuse being prepared to engage with me with a desire to avoid dealing with me. The different delays in your life have not been caused by my timing. However, these delays have been caused by your own doubts, so I'm not going to judge you for it now. I want you to stop. The life you desire, the peace you seek, and the motivation behind your efforts require a version of yourself that is willing to make sacrifices. Change how you act, how you think, what you can and can't do, what you pay attention to, and how you react to conviction. You're no longer stuck. You're not moving. And when you decide to move, nothing stays still. Avoid repeating the same actions that keep you stuck in your current situation while expecting different outcomes. I have arranged for change to happen, but you should be ready for it. Please hear me right away. Don't let other things take your attention away from what I want to do in you. You've been asking me to shape you, tell you things, trade with you, toughen you up, and help you grow. But as soon as I start to focus on one task, other things come up and distract me. I let them, and they take my attention, my energy, and my interest. Your distractions aren't just happening. They have a plan. The enemy knows he can't hurt you, so he tries to take your attention away from him. Because he can't stop your calling, he keeps you too busy to walk in it. He can't eliminate your drive, so he creates distractions in your life that prevent you from hearing my voice. People who don't deserve your attention have been distracting you. Avoid doing things that numb you instead of things that feed you. Fun activities can distract you, nourishing your mind, but not your heart. You don't get anything done, though, because your fears take away your energy. You may feel distracted by your phone, negative comments, your feelings, and events that disrupt your spiritual flow. And each distraction might not seem like a big deal by itself, but all of them together could be taking away your time, energy, ability to read, and direction. But pay attention to me. I'm painting you in a profound way, a real picture. A job that needs your attention, presence, participation, stability, and the ability to stay focused even when other things are screaming for your attention. You asked to be changed, so now protect it. You've been asked to explain your motives, now do it. You requested clarity, so please make space for it. You have asked for rehabilitation. Leave the quiet where healing takes place, and stop going for walks. Distractions don't seem dangerous most of the time. They look innocent, soothing, smooth, fun, and comfortable. But anything that takes away your awareness takes away your growth. Something that dulls your spirit makes you grow more slowly. When something gets in the way of your connection, it makes it harder for you to identify. Anything that pulls you away from me is also pulling you away from your goal. Avoid letting things take over your spiritual life. We tried to talk to you, make you better, and shape you in Evocus. But I can't compete with the noise you choose to listen to. I'm not calling you to poverty now. I want you to pay attention. You need to choose which topics are more important. The future is what distracts you. Your destiny follows the path of your fame. Really listen to what I have to say, because I'm reaching into a secret part of your being right now. You keep acting as if you're fine, even though your soul is tired. You have now crossed the mental, spiritual, intellectual, and physical boundaries that you once thought were unbreakable. Still, you keep acting like nothing is wrong. You have been putting on a mask of strength, armor of resolve, and defense of calmness, not because you are fine, but because you don't want anyone to see how worn out you really are. You are sure that saying that you are worn out is a sign of weakness, that slowing down doesn't work, and that asking for help puts other people under a lot of stress. But really listen to me. Acting nice isn't always a good use of energy. It is torturous, and you have been pushing yourself to get through the days with little strength while spending the nights overthinking. Even when you were just relaxing, you felt worn out and heavy. Even in the presence of others, you feel disconnected. You have been getting by, but you aren't growing anymore. However, urgent ahead is no longer growing or living. It is just alive. Why do you feel so completely worn out? It's because you've been clinging to an image of yourself that doesn't accurately represent who you truly are. You've been carrying heavy things in silence, thinking they'll go away on their own, but they haven't. In fact, lying has added weight that can't be taken away. Listen, I didn't make you so that you'd be emotionally worn out all the time. I failed to make you understand the whole thing. I didn't mean to push myself to carry responsibilities without help. Your soul was made to rest in me and stop running away from me. Your spirit became something new so that it could breathe deeply in my presence and stop choking from stress. And your heart is made to flow, not stay closed up. Feeling tired is not always a sign that you are hurt. You've been saying, "By myself," too much, and now is the time to stop lying. I don't think it's embarrassing that you're exhausted. It's not even close to an invite. It's not that I want to know your ideal strength. I'm asking for an honest submission. Don't tell yourself that you need to push everything to the side. Stop accepting the lie that being vulnerable makes you unfit. Do not shut down the voice inside you that says, "I can't do this on my own." I hear that voice, and I am answering it. Tell me about your tiredness, your heaviness, your confusion, your numbness, your unhappiness, and your emptiness. You've been fighting the changes you wanted. You asked for growth, so now fight the system that makes you grow. You asked for healing, so now fight the moments when your wounds come to the surface. You asked for clarity, so now face it when I tell you the truths that require uncomfortable changes. You asked for cause, so now fight the pruning that purpose needs. You asked for elevation, so now fight the discipline that makes it last. You're not fighting me out of rebellion, you're fighting it out of pain. But listen to me. Every other option you've been avoiding is linked to the breakthrough you've been asking me for. I know those changes can be overwhelming. Boom often looks like loss before it looks like growth. Restoration often looks like publicity before it looks like relief. Clarity often looks like disruption before it looks like a course. because it often looks like a strain before it looks like that. Ovation often feels like sacrifice before it looks like praise. You want to change, but change isn't simple. It requires stretching, moving, freeing, studying, stepping forward, and stepping away. You can't stick to old habits and expect new results. You can't stay in familiar places and expect supernatural elevation. You can't keep your old way of thinking and enter a new season. You know the changes I want you to make, but you're afraid of the unknown. You worry about pain, letting go, disappointing other people, and going into the unknown. But hear this: the unknown is your next stage. Pain is your growth. Release is your freedom. And giving up is your strength. I'm not calling you into destruction. I'm calling you into destiny. And the future calls for exchange. Stop resisting what you asked me to do. Every divine shift you feel right now could be part of the blessing you prayed for. Respond. Don't fight, lean in. Do not pull again. Your future is unfolding, but you have to be ready to go with it. Pay close attention to me. I'm telling you to clean up the places that are polluting your spirit. You've been trying to grow spiritually while remaining in environments that drain your energy, hinder your discernment, because you stress and disrupt your peace. You've been surrounding yourself with voices that don't support your calling, habits that make you less sensitive, places that hold you back, and effects that make it difficult to read. You've been feeling uncomfortable around positive people for a reason. There's a reason why positive interactions have been wearing you out. You've been feeling stressed after eating positive content for a reason. You've been feeling disconnected from me after spending time in positive places for a reason. This is because you're contaminating your spirit with environments unfit for your future. Your peace is telling you what your thoughts are trying to ignore. Your discernment has been warning you. This environment isn't always for you. This conversation isn't always for you. This dependence isn't always for you. This dependence has an effect on you. You can't be spiritually pure while living in polluted spaces. You can't hear me when there's a lot of noise around you. You can't develop non-secular energy while being in environments that weaken your spirit. You can't grow in motivation while living in environments that cater to your past. At some point, you need to choose the environments that protect your purpose over the ones that make you feel comfortable. I'm not calling you to isolate. I'm calling you to elevate, and that means getting away from what pollutes your spirit, cleans your environment, cleans your thoughts, cleans your behavior, cleans your relationships, cleans your consumption, cleans your environment, because the blessing I'm preparing for you needs a clean environment to grow. You've been feeling the pull. Now honor it. Your spirit deserves clean air. Your purpose deserves safety, and your calling deserves to be heard. Cleanse the environments that pollute you, and you will finally receive the spiritual oxygen you've been gasping for. Listen to me carefully, because this truth has been echoing in your head for months. You can't walk into your future while wonderful voices contradict your calling. Your choices and feelings are shaped by external and internal voices. These voices come from people who talk from their brokenness, environments that shape the way you think, fears that whisper lies, memories that distort who you are, and insecurities that play back old stories. And every time you give these voices space, they pull you further away from the path I've been pointing you toward. It seems like you've been trying to silence my voice while listening to voices that don't provide you facts. You focus on the complaint and call it in honestly. You listen to doubt and call it a warning. You listen to fear and call it information. You focus on the beyond and call it identity. You focus on hurt people and call them loyalty. But listen to me, no longer is every voice supposed to have the right to enter your spirit. Now, Only some voices belong at the table of your choices. Not every voice includes discernment. Not every voice is in line with your calling. And as long as you let those voices that aren't in line with mine speak louder than mine, you'll always feel conflict, burden, and spiritual instability. These are the voices that drain you, discourage you, limit your growth, and tempt you back into patterns you've already outgrown. These are the voices that make you question your worth, your motives, and your development. Voices make your fears worse and push you to be who I knew you were. These voices shaped who you are, not because they are telling the truth, but because you let them in. Listen to me carefully. My calling for your life is too important, too specific, and too holy to be watered down by voices that don't match my heart. I want you to tune out the noise. Identify the things that make you weak, and understand the ways of thinking that go against the truth I've spoken over you. You can't move forward if you feed the voices that hold you back. You walk purposefully when you reject self-doubt. You can't grow spiritually if you read words that limit your faith. Your future calls for readability, clarity, and selective listening. You have to choose whose voice you trust and whose words you let shape who you become. You should choose who enters into your heart. Once you silence the voices that don't support your calling, you'll listen to me more honestly than ever. Listen with courage, because I'm talking to the part of you that has been quietly shaking. I'm telling you what you've been avoiding, because it's time to face it. You've been running away from truths that feel too heavy, too painful, too overwhelming, or too complicated to deal with. However, running away doesn't bring healing to the wounds. Avoiding things doesn't get rid of worry, it strengthens it. Avoiding things doesn't bring peace, it delays it. You've been burying certain issues in the recesses of your mind, resolving them at a later time. Things you buried under stress, distractions, and emotional distance, but later never came. And the weight of what you've been avoiding has been affecting you more than you realize. You've been avoiding awkward conversations that could lead to freedom. You've been putting off making tough decisions, healing, because you're afraid of the pain of facing your past, obstacles because you're afraid of losing people, alternatives because you're afraid of the unknown, and forgiveness because you're afraid of being open. And the longer you've put these things off, the more stressed, worried, conflicted, and heavy your heart has become. Avoidance always promises short-term relief, but it always leads to long-term bondage. Listen, I'm not bringing these things up to make you feel bad or overwhelmed. I'm bringing them up because they cannot remain as the burden that causes you distress. I'm bringing up what you have been avoiding because it's been taking away your joy, making it difficult to see clearly, and stopping your growth. You think dealing with these things will destroy you, but going through them with me will heal you. What you're afraid of facing is precisely what I need to satisfy you. I see an opportunity for progress where you perceive only pain change, and the anxiety that hinders your freedom. You're stronger than you thought, smarter than your choices, and more resilient than your fears suggest. And the recovery you've been praying for won't happen until you face the things you've been avoiding. I'm not asking you to face them alone. I'm asking you to let me face them with you. Let me carry your fear, your hesitation, your tears, and your shaking. Recovery isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing the truth despite it. It's time to face what you've been avoiding. Peace, clarity, and the freedom your soul has been longing for await on the other side of a war of words. Listen to me honestly. Your heart is becoming harder in places you haven't noticed. This hardness did appear all at once. You built it up with disappointments you never talked about, hurts you never dealt with, thoughts you never rebuilt, and times when you felt unsafe, unheard, or unnoticed. Your heart and paperwork try to protect themselves without my help. And while it looks like strength, it's actually a wall that stops healing, stops intimacy, stops growth, and even stops readability. There are parts of your heart that used to be soft, smooth with compassion, smooth with conviction, tender with giving up, and soft with desire, but life's blows have made you cautious, guarded, and defensive. You don't show that you're hurting. Instead, you tighten your emotions, numb your sensitivity, and focus on survival. But your heart is becoming much less open to pleasure, less open to liking, less aware of conviction, and less likely to trust. And you didn't even realize it was happening, because you wish to avoid disappointment once more. You become emotionally guarded toward well-intentioned individuals. You harden your heart toward certain opportunities because of past sadness. You become emotionally guarded regarding desire because you wish to avoid experiencing disappointment once more. You have hardened your heart toward vulnerability because you think that being soft is risky. You hardened your heart toward me in subtle ways, not out of rebellion, but because you were exhausted. You've built walls to keep pain out, but the same walls are keeping recovery out too. Listen to me carefully. I'm not bringing up your hardness to shame you. I'm bringing it up to melt you. A heart that is hardened can't discover a new path. A heart that is hardened can't feel my presence at all. A heart that is hardened can't step into a deeper cause. A heart that is hardened can't sense warning or conviction with ease. Hardness doesn't protect you, it isolates you. I love you too much to help you stay in emotional survival mode. Let me soften the places that have become numb. Let me soften the defenses you built out of fear. Let me heal the hurts you never said. Let me restore the tenderness that life tried to scrounge. You shouldn't defend yourself from me. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to heal you. And as your heart softens, you may breathe differently, love differently, think differently, and live differently. Your heart is becoming tough in places you haven't noticed. But now that you do, let me restore what was lost. Listen carefully, because this truth cuts through the illusions you were counting on. You keep trying to resolve non-secular problems with earthly solutions. You've been using common sense in battles that require discernment. You have been using willpower to confront wounds that require giving up. You've been seeking human recommendation in conditions that require divine preparation. You have been using distractions to numb the pain that my mere presence can heal. And whenever you attempt to remedy spiritual problems with earthly tools, you end up feeling more annoyed, more exhausted, and more caught than before. You've been wondering why matters are not changing, why readability isn't coming, why the load is not lifting, and why the confusion keeps circling. But this is why spiritual battles cannot be won with an herbal approach. You've attempted reorganizing your existence, but not reconnecting with me. You have tried controlling circumstances, but not surrendering the outcome. You have tried motivating yourself, however, you are no longer allowing me to strengthen you. You have tried ignoring the hassle, but not addressing the spiritual path. It seems you've explored self-help, but what you might truly need is my assistance. And even though these earthly tries bring transient relief, they never bring lasting transformation. Listen to me, some storms in your life aren't emotional, they're religious. Some heaviness isn't intellectual, it's spiritual. Some confusion isn't caused by circumstances, it's more religious. Some cycles aren't psychological, they're spiritual. And until you face them with non-secular weapons, like prayer, worship, giving up, stillness, and obedience, you'll feel like you're fighting shadows that will never go away. You've been trying to use human strength to fight battles that need divine intervention. I'm telling you this to encourage you. You can't solve non-secular problems with earthly solutions. But when you fight spiritually, heaven backs you. When you pray deliberately, chains are broken, When you worship without any doubt, darkness retreats. When you truly give up, readability returns. The war shifts in your favor when you join me. Don't fight by myself. Fight with me. Hear the words with the hope that your spirit desperately desires. You're closer to a breakthrough than your emotions suggest. Your emotions were telling you that nothing is changing, that you're stuck, and that you're repeating cycles. But they're lying to you. They reflect the stress of transition, not the reality of your progress. It feels like tension, resistance, and the struggle get tougher right before the shift. And that's what you've been feeling. What you call battle is actually religious momentum. What you call a setback is actually non-secular repositioning. What you call blay is actually divine timing aligning in the heritage. You think you're stuck because you're worn out. You think you studied, you're far because you feel crushed. You think you studied, you're failing because you feel stressed. But listen to me, the stress is proof that you're getting close. The heavy feeling indicates that old habits or beliefs are being released. The pain is proof that you're stepping into unfamiliar territory. The resistance is proof that the enemy knows what's coming and is trying to stop you. If nothing was changing, you wouldn't be feeling this intense. The fact that you feel so stretched, conflicted, emotional, and spiritually touchy is proof that you are right at the edge of transformation. Your step forward is not far away. You are closer than your worries let you believe. You are more worn out than you look, and your problems look like they are. You are better now than you think. You are more healed than you provide yourself credit for. You have given up more than you know. You're better than you thought when you woke up. Additionally, heaven has been moving things that you don't even know about yet. Choose your growth no longer based on how you feel. Make up your mind based on your loyalty. You haven't stopped. You haven't left. Not all of you have given up on old styles. You haven't let the evil take back your heart. You are still right here, still trying to reach, still looking for, still fighting, still praying, and still hoping. That patience shows that things are getting better at work. You're in the same area as before. Keep going. Move forward. Do not get the worry wrong. Because of your prayers, it has come true. This is a breeze to read, and your spirit can't afford to ignore it. I want you to notice the small lies you've been telling yourself. Your faith foundation is slowly being weakened by the small, quiet decisions you make and the small changes in standards, which may not seem significant at first. Giving in is not a big deal at all. The process starts with just this. For starters, it stops being a big deal. The process starts with telling yourself, every day I'll get back on track. It also includes small changes in your beliefs, small delays in following through, and small reasons you keep giving yourself. However, repeatedly making those minor compromises creates space for fresh perspectives. The enemy can use these opportunities to weaken you, hinder your ability to hear my words, and sap your strength. You've been ignoring small things, going back to old behaviors, praying less, bending rules, and putting aside your beliefs. However, it's not because you don't love me. It's because you are exhausted, busy, beaten, or mentally stressed. But listen to me. The way to religion's decline is through diffuse agreement. Not right away, and not in a big way. Instead, slowly, quietly, and softly. However, the risk is not in how long the deal is, but in the way it pulls you. Every little deal takes you an inch farther from harmony, clarity, sensitivity, and cause. And when you repeat it, inches become miles. This isn't because I want to sentence you. It's partly to protect you, and partly to reset you, to wake you up before glide turns into distance. I'm calling on you to strengthen your non-secular defense, to go back to the area, to put limits back in place, to close the doors you opened, and to take back the standards you set before putting them away. Do not toss away things that look small. When added up over time, things that seem small at first have the most power. Your calling is just too important. The road ahead of you is too big. Your reason is too strong. Your identity is too important to risk. You have too much value in your heart, and it costs too much for your future to be in danger because of vague agreements. Pay attention. Watch out for your heart. Protect your line of sight. Making small changes now will keep big problems from happening later. Pay close attention, because this truth has both kindness and urgency to it. You keep coming back to the place I added you from. It's not a desire to feel outdated, but rather the comforting familiarity of the old styles. Even though you're past some cycles, you keep going back to them when you're feeling lonely, insecure, stressed, or emotionally worn out. Memories, safety, and dependence have been your enemies, drawing you towards places that don't align with your current identity. When you come back, the responsibility hits you right away every time. You can feel the weight. You have faith in it. The anger is something you feel in yourself. It's not my intention to hurt you, but your spirit immediately recognizes that I no longer belong here. That pain isn't a terrible thing. It shows that your boom is real. You've been going back to old relationships that hurt you because you feel like you know them. You've been going back to old habits because they make you feel better for a short time. You've been thinking about old ideas again because they don't take as much guts as going into the unknown. Because fixing things seems like a lot of work, you've been reliving old mental patterns. And even though you keep trying to convince yourself that this time could be different, the truth is that it often isn't. Old traps can't help you find new freedom. Usually, the chains you broke will look for a way to get back together. That's why I'm giving you a tip when your heart starts to move back toward what used to have you hooked. My intention is not to cause you harm, but to ensure your safety. Please spare me. I didn't provide you with only a partial solution. I failed for a short time to break your chains. I didn't only fix part of you. I didn't save you so that you would go back to the places that almost killed you. Your spirit is too awake right now to wear old-fashioned clothes. The reason you have is too big for old bikes. Your ID has been fixed up too much to be able to change into old versions of yourself. There is also pain that you feel when you go backwards, which means that your soul knows the truth before your thoughts do. There is no longer a way to return. Don't romanticize what I saved you from. Don't contemplate what I healed you of again. Don't try to bring back something I buried on purpose. I introduced you because it was your fate to do so. Now walk through the familiar chains of the past like a free person, not like someone who is being tempted. Read these words in a clear and straightforward way. You can't keep ignoring the behavior that makes you feel down, makes it harder to recognize things, and makes it harder to tell right from wrong. You might think these actions aren't relevant. Everyday small things, like small treats, small sacrifices, small time wasters, and small distractions, are taking away your power. There are many things you want to know about why your prayers seem weaker. Your thoughts feel confused. Your feelings feel unstable. Your focus feels blurry, and your religious hunger changes. Reasoning is easy to understand. You can't keep feeding your body, and you can't expect your mind to stay strong. You spend too much time on things that don't provide you anything in return. Negativity, contrast, noise, and reviews that drown out my words have taken over your ideas. It's because you let your body run on tiredness instead of rest. The things you watch, read, play, and put up with have made you feel better. Though it didn't seem dangerous at first, all of this has caused your spiritual power to leak out. This doesn't always have to do with legalism. It has to do with balance. Intentionality, not excess, is beneficial for your heart, Reason needs attention rather than division. Destiny no longer calls for religious tiredness, but for drive. However, you have been directing your efforts toward pursuits that do not facilitate the realization of your dream. While your distractions enjoy a fancy dinner, you have been neglecting your spirit's needs. You have been living in less space than what you need for the lives you have been hoping for. I'm not telling everyone about that behavior to shame you. I'm telling you about them because you've been asking for more openness, more peace, more reason, more closeness with me, a bigger step forward, and more calls to change how you live, what you let in, what you eat, what you drink, and what you put up with. If you want to move up, you have to get rid of what is pulling you down. Your spirit is essential. Your mind is valuable. It is very valuable. Your reason is important. And you need to confront the behavior that drains you. Not tomorrow, not today, not even tomorrow. Let me tell you this truth in a soft but firm voice. You haven't been listening to me, not due to an inability, but because you choose not to follow my requests. You undoubtedly perceive my certainty, clarity, and stillness. You can feel my pull on your heart. You feel my direction in your spirit, but you hesitate when my advice conflicts with your goals, feelings, or relationships. You put off. You ask. This is your second chance. This is not due to a lack of clarity in my voice, but rather because you perceive obedience as a significant expense. I told you to end some ties. You also don't want to do it because the emotional tie feels stronger than the belief. I told you to go back to some non-secular work. You would rather not do it because distractions are easier for you than dedication. I told you to face the patterns that hurt you, and you owned up to the fact that comfort feels safer than growth. You don't want to go somewhere new because, to you, fear seems more powerful than faith. However, pay attention to me. What I say is not a bother. In secret, they're blessings. Whenever I tell you to start something, it's because I want to keep you safe. Every time I ask you to give up something, it's because I want to help you. When I tell you to do something, it's because I want to help you achieve what you've been asking for. Ignoring me will delay your fate, disturb your peace, and prolong processes that should have ended. You don't have to obey me without question. I want you to believe in obedience, but not obedience that comes from fear. I want you to believe in obedience that comes from love. My orders will make you feel bad because they will force you to confront the parts of your life that need to change. And if you answer, even if you're shaking, unsure, or moving slowly, you'll find that the part you were afraid to follow is the part that will set you free to the next level. Don't ignore the voice that you've been praying to hear. No longer do I want to rule you. Instead, I want to lead you to freedom. Please listen carefully, because this fact has something to do with the stress you've been feeling. While you ask me for peace, you protect the very things that take it away from you. You beg for peace but end up with chaos. You seek to rest, yet you refuse to relinquish the burdens that are weighing you down. It's challenging for you to read, but you listen to sounds that make you feel confused. You want to be emotionally stable, but you keep eating in ways that make you less stable. You want mental peace, but are still close to people who make you feel miserable. And you've thought about why peace seems short-lived, weak, temporary, or challenging to keep up. But the truth is that you only find peace by letting go. As you ask, Lord, provide me peace, your bonds, distractions, worries, and old ways push peace away. Every time it tries to settle in your heart, you treat your spirit with noise, and then wonder why you feel detached. You recall your old hurts, and then wonder why you're feeling heavy. You maintain a balance between the past and the present, leaving you perplexed as to why you feel so divided. Peace doesn't always mean that there are no problems. Peace is when everything is in sync. You haven't fully embraced peace yet because you're still clinging to things that fight your soul. Just pay attention to me. Launch is needed for peace. You can't be angry and want peace at the same time. You can't stay worried and find peace at the same time. It's not possible to keep manipulating and achieve peace. Without giving up your sins, you can't attain peace. You cannot remain in the company of people who drain your energy and still expect to find peace. With the right way of life, peace can be yours. If you choose to give up over a fight, think about choosing discipline over a distraction and choosing to obey over avoiding. I can give you peace. You are making it difficult to see. But as soon as you decide to let the cross of what fights your spirit cross over, peace will fill the places where stress used to be, and I can offer you the peace you've been asking for. But first, you should let go of the things that are holding you back. Listen to those words with confidence and ease. I'm trying to break the loop that you keep calling normal. That disorder feels like something you're used to, because you've lived with certain routines for goodbye. It feels safe to act in unhealthy ways. It's normal to feel emotionally unstable. Inconsistency in your spiritual life seems normal. Relationships that are harmful feel like home. Those cycles have been a part of your life for years, maybe even decades, leading you to believe that this is just how things are. That this is just how I am. That's just a way of life. But I call what you call everyday bondage. What you call every day, I call a limit. What you call surviving, I call being locked up. It shows up in the same feelings, fears, triggers, responses, hopelessness, and desires. It depends on the people you're with. The same failures, the same types of people, the same painful ends, and the same unhealthy relationships are all present. No matter how non-secular your life is, you'll still experience the same lack of stability, shifting, guilt, and ups and downs of drive and burnout. And each time the circle goes around, you lose a little more hope that something can change. But listen up, this loop finishes with you. This situation is no longer meant to make you feel bad. It's time to rise above what's been happening to you for too long. You were not made to be stuck in family patterns, emotional loops, or non-secular dead ends. You were made to break loops, not stay stuck in them. It's been a rough time for your spirit because I've been messing with the rules of the cycle, letting go of the sample, and changing things that were getting comfortable so that you can see what's been holding you back. You shouldn't go through the same pain again. You don't have to tell the same story again. You shouldn't go around what turned into what was given to you. I am giving you freedom. But freedom needs to be well known. Freedom means giving up things. If you want to be free, you need to stop thinking that being bound is normal. The circle is coming to an end. If you're okay with me ruining what you've been sitting through, be cautious as you listen to me, because this word will touch the deepest part of your soul. You've been walking around feeling nothing. In addition, I want to wake up your heart again. It didn't happen overnight that I felt numb. It slowly took shape as you dealt with disappointments that wore you down, heartbreaks that made you guarded, pressure that never went away, growing responsibilities, and emotions you couldn't process. You chose numbness. Your heart told you it couldn't handle the weight of feeling everything so deeply, so you picked numbness. You've been going through life without thinking about it, doing what needs to be done, showing up where you're supposed to, talking when you need to, and laughing when you're supposed to. Deep down, though, something feels subdued, quiet, and detached. It's not that you don't care. That's why you're tired. You're growing wary of holding on to hope. We're tired of enduring pain. We are tired of beginning anew. We're sick of being let down. Are you sick of giving more than you get? Are you tired of engaging in invisible conflicts? Are you sick of acting like everything is fine when it's not? So, your heart decided to be numb as a way to stay alive. But pay attention, numbness isn't always present. Being numb doesn't help heal. Being numb is not happiness. To feel numb is to call for renewal in the soul. And I'm calling your coronary heart back to life in a caring, gentle way. You might think that staying quiet is a way to protect yourself. But numbness also stops people from feeling joy, connection, peace, readability, closeness, and spiritual awareness. Being numb keeps you from hurting, but it also keeps you from getting better. I'm getting to the places where you stopped feeling. I'm feeling the parts of your body where your heart stopped beating. I'm giving the feelings you buried new life. I'm bringing back the awareness that pain made you lose. I'm bringing back desire where sorrow put you to sleep. Do not try to force it. You only want me to come in. I won't give you too much. It will be gentle and kind for me to wake you up. You were never meant to live with a heart that doesn't feel anything. You were meant to feel again in the right way, deeply and fully. Now I'm going to wake you up to habits. This is the last thing you should hear about this rising campaign. You're not getting in trouble. You are getting ready. Everything you've been going through, everything you've been feeling, everything I've been seeing in you, everything I've been getting rid of, and everything I've been going over. It was meant to arm you, though, to make you stronger. You have an unhealthy desire for punishment, pain for failure, growth for rejection, and spiritual growth for being left behind. But I haven't been telling you off. The future you keep hoping for has been coming together for me. Not often does instruction feel mild. Coaching can look like losing, getting attention, being pushed, following a plan, or being on the field, but advice is love in action. I'm preparing you to bear your calling and the gift that's coming. Avoid the fights ahead of time and walk in the power you were made for. But I am making you, shaping you, strengthening you, and perfecting you. If I allowed you to live as an equal, you would not be able to handle the next season without breaking. This is because my plans for you require a level of energy that you did not possess previously. Why is this happening? Isn't the right question. What is this making me into? Is the right question. Everything you've been through has a reason. Every second doesn't make sense. You are no longer being punished for every challenging season. Every tear, every grain, every shift, and every waking. You are now being ordered. And when the season changes, the leap forward happens, clarity comes, and the benefits start to show. You'll realize that everything I tried to teach you was love hidden as discipline, safety hidden as pain, and direction hidden as stress. You're not getting in trouble. Yes,